January 30th, 2023 was when I played the last part of the 7th chapter. 3rd chapter. Are you for real? It's been over a year? Well, okay. Alright, well, the window captures. That's pretty good. It's a good sign. It opens up. That's also a good sign. Okay, right. I have to pop Joy to key. So here's what we remember, chat. We're in the middle of a case. Where is it? There it is. Yomu HSA. Okay. Let me get the volume because it seems kind of loud. Put it down to 60. There you go. So yeah. We're gonna start. I guess we're gonna load. Or maybe we click start. Start from the first chapter. Start from another chapter. Start from the 2nd chapter, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So, 5th chapter's not done yet. 4th chapter is. Let's begin. How did this happen? It's all my fault, Mr. Katsura. Frankly, I expected this to happen. What? When I saw the look in your eyes, I knew I couldn't stop you. Why are you panicking, chat? In that case, I'd rather go along and hope for a better outcome. But even with precautions in place, we couldn't stop it from happening. I suppose I failed to protect you. That's not true. At this rate, being attacked is just a matter of time. No. There's something I want to ask you. What? What is it? Miss Renko Usami, do you trust her? So here's a rough idea of what I remember. So in chapter 1, Akyu died. And in chapter 2, Shimi died. And in chapter 3, we went back in time to here, where we're playing as Renko, like the origin story of Renko and Yomu, and we're doing a case involving robbing a Tangu library or archive or something, and a Tangu was killed. Unfortunately, the bits and pieces I'm missing of my memory, the last thing I remember is that Yomu and Renko were trapped in a ghost house and they escaped. And that's all I remember. And I remember Kita Katsura, who was Gregory Edgeworth for some reason. I never got this part I don't get, but I don't mind because Gregory Edgeworth is awesome. Is that clear? Hirari. So Hirari was the villager girl who was the suspect from chapter 2, I believe. She was the villager who was accused of killing Shimi. Crystal clear. Good. Hide once you're ready. Remember, you must be fast. Got it. Must it be her? Yes. Amongst the people we can trust, only she is familiar with the way to Mayoiga. But she's never been brave. If anything were to happen, there's no guarantee. No one is born brave, nor is anyone born a coward. Walking, talking, facing your fears, they are all things we can only change ourselves. It is simply a matter of time. Right. Yo, morning, Messiah. Good morning, Messiah. If you're here, that means Yep. No matter what, I'm ready to settle the case. Can't just pretend it has nothing to do with me. And I want to chip in some effort finding Renko-san too. She's gonna chirp in. Thank you, Miss Aya. No need for thanks. Although... where's Yomu-san? She hasn't arrived yet. That's odd. I went to her agency, but she wasn't there either. What else could she be? Where else could she be? I suppose that she still doesn't want to see me. Huh? A year ago... Oh my god, I cannot believe how relevant that statement is right now. A year ago, I promised her I wouldn't fail. And yet, there couldn't have been a worse outcome. I did plan on telling her the truth, but... Mary, despair not. Yomu-san isn't as unreasonable as you think. I'm sure she'll forgive you after what you told her yesterday. Says who? What did you tell her? I don't remember. I made myself clear. Had you not failed a year ago, none of this would have happened. Oh, we're back in the... Wait. We're back in the present? Oh, I don't remember what the timeline is right now. Are we still in the past or are we in the present? Yomu-san. After that, your reputation hit rock bottom. I can't put my trust in you. If it were me, if that shame and failure were mine to bear, I'd even be willing to take my own life. Yet you continued living as if nothing had happened in Gensokyo, right before my eyes. There are no excuses. You failed, period. You can't be trusted anymore. If you can't take your own life, then revenge is the only option left. Such is the way of the warrior. That's why I'll be watching. Before everything is resolved, I won't look away for even a second. I'll see if you truly do wish to atone for your sins and to make up for your wrongdoings. Until that day, you are not forgiven. Is that clear? Got it, Yomu. There are things we can only change ourselves. It is simply a matter of time. Isn't that right, Miss Mary? Right. By the way, Kita Oji-san. Wait, no, I should call you... Just keep calling him Kita Oji-san like you used to. Kita Oji-san himself doesn't want passersby to know who he is either. I see. Wait, didn't you and Kita Oji-san meet a year ago? That's right. Then couldn't you have told me sooner? Why am I the only one who doesn't know anything? That wouldn't have been as funny. What's so funny? Ha 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 ha. No ha-ha-ing your way out of this one. It was me who asked Miss Aya to not casually reveal my identity. Ah, I see. Those Tangu never stopped trying to attack him, so he's been hiding from them all this time. You say that like you're not a Tangu yourself. You see, some yokai have been seeking opportunities to make trouble for those related to the judicial system. Right, I remember. So this new system, this court system, was not popular with yokai. And also Reimu is a cold-blooded killer in the series. I remember that. In the past, we had Miss Yukari's protection, but after the judicial system's collapse, her hands have been tied. Yeah, so I don't remember what happened, but a year ago, something fucked up, and it all fell apart. And I'm pretty sure the last case I did was supposed to be relevant to that, but I don't think I got the proper conclusion to it, which is what 4 and 5 are going to end up doing. We're going to correct that mistake, but I don't remember how case 3 ended, is the problem. I see. If Kita were still around, I suppose he'd be in the same situation. Right, so the original Kita was some guy from back then? Fuck, I don't remember. Kita. So that Kita-san was your friend. Yes, we've known each other back when we were still in the outside world. He's a good man. We were among the people who advocated for laws against Sokyo. The witness disappeared. Bro, I don't remember. How do you remember? What the fuck? Both you and Kita-san advocated for the judicial system. Yes, he also helped vet a number of laws despite having no need to. That was a rather dull job, mind you. But this tangent has gone on long enough. Let's focus on the present for now. Yeah, so what's the plan? Let me explain. Firstly, according to our and Miss I's investigation, the library's security is more or less the same as 1 year ago. Firstly, according to our and Miss I's wait, you just said that. Mary? You just said that. A barrier by the shrine maiden and a guard at each entrance. Okay. So, not only did she just say that, but she said it worse the second time. It's almost exactly the same. On one hand, it could be because they don't want to attract too much attention to the matter. On the other hand, the Tangu refused to admit there were holes in their security, missing a space between that comma and that T. They'd rather sweep it under the rug than improve upon their mistakes. As a man, it told you to only mention if completely necessary. After you mentioned him, he disappeared. I don't remember more. Yeah, I don't remember that at all. It'd be the end of the world if they let others underestimate them, huh? I don't really get it myself, but it works in our favor. Firstly, the Hakude Shrine Maiden was arrested a few days ago. Yeah. On top of that, a murder occurred at the Hakude Shrine, giving me a perfect opportunity to obtain this. You mean, the talisman. Yes, I got it while investigating Yomuru's murder. That's theft, Yomu-san. I didn't hear anything. With that, the barrier should pose no issue. If you're thinking the Tengu won't just stand aside and allow us to investigate, then you'd be correct. So we'll have to distract the guards and sneak inside. And unfortunately, that means knocking out one of the guards. That's theft and assault, Yomu-san. I said I didn't hear anything. The case never resolved, and now we need to solve it. You remember when fucking Renko yapped about the unconscious, whatever that was about? Do you remember that, chat? She spent like 10 minutes yapping about some kind of book on the subconscious. I don't even remember what the information was in that book, but it was so long-winded. Hey, why is everyone so quiet? We just started walking. Can you keep it down for 1 minute? I mean, are we going to discuss anything? Discuss? Yeah, we'll be revisiting that case from 1 year ago. So we should summarize details from that case and see what's worth looking into, right? Fair point. Essentially, we already know what happened outside, but not inside. You're saying, if you sum up the two trials from a year ago, we can piece together the following. Oh, here's the recap. Firstly, at 6 a.m., the victim and Miss Momiji started their shift at the library. At the same time, Miss Raymond went to look for Miss Sanae to play Go. A little after 6 a.m., Miss Aya came to chat with Momiji at the east entrance. She stole one of her talismans and flew up to the top of the library, waiting for a chance to enter. At around 6:30 a.m., Miss Raymond ends her game and tells Miss Sanae that Miss Momiji knows how to play as well. Miss Sanae then paid her a visit. Miss Momiji accepted the invite, leaving her post to play Go with Miss Sanae at the nearby table. At around 6:50 a.m., Miss Momiji heard two sounds within the library, so she left the game and searched for the victim at the southern entrance. Miss Sanae went home. Miss Aya used this opportunity to sneak into the library via the east entrance and started to flick through the library's data. Miss Momiji finds no trace of the victim, so she enters the library, catching Miss Aya after she fails to hold in a sneeze. Then Miss Momiji and Miss Aya both discover the victim's body on the other side of the library. The two then leave the library to report the crime. That should be about it. That sounds a bit... Yes. Details of the outside are clear, yet we know next to nothing about the inside. Now that I think about it, I was too focused on getting a not guilty verdict. I was so caught up in pressing the witnesses' contradictions that I missed the forest for the trees. I went back and forth figuring out what happened outside, yet I didn't stop to think about what actually happened during the murder. That is our purpose today, to figure out what truly happened inside the library. Indeed, that's why we must focus on the library itself for this investigation. I have the equipment necessary to test for fingerprints and blood stains. We can investigate every nook and cranny of the library. You have my word on that. Are we really going to solve this case once and for all? Yes, Miss Yomu. What else can we do? The phantoms of what happened inside that library have affected much too many people. If we continue leaving it untouched, it'll only affect more and more people. Understood. This is it. I swear it. This time I'll get to the bottom of this case and find Renko's whereabouts. So Renko just gone. Momiji. The heat is killing me. No, can't let my guard down. This is my duty. Do I smell smoke coming from my hair? My hair's still there, right? Wait, now's not the time to worry about that. But it's still... What? What's that sound? The east entrance. Huh? What? Hey, wake up! She's still breathing. Thank goodness. Doesn't seem like he was attacked. There's so much sweat. This is her water bottle. Wait, what? It's empty. No way. This is the guy or a girl? Hang on, I should check to make sure. Her talismans are still there. Okay, no, it's a girl. Mine too. I wager she passed out from the heat. No wonder it's so hot after all. A while later, and I'll probably end up like her. Whatever, I need to bring her back to base. The library should be fine. I mean, I can't cool her down here. Alright. Convenient. A resounding success! Good work, Miss Aya. That went better than I expected. When I first heard the plan, I thought it'd be pretty hard to pull off with how simple it is. Simple things are easier to do, Miss Yomu. Complicated plans are prone to error. That's true. But ambushing the Tangu and using water from a bottle to fake the illusion of sweat. She's a lot more gullible than I expected. In a certain sense, it's also because of Miss Momiji herself. 1 year ago, her partner suddenly vanished and she discovered him as a dead body. I'm sure such an incredible incident has had a lasting effect on Miss Momiji, so she's very sensitive about what happens to her partner. Just a word there. After confirming her condition, she eased up and quickly brought her to a place where she could receive care. I before E, except after C. That's the plan. Went as smoothly as it did is owing to the fact that Miss Momiji experienced what she did, so she didn't expect anything was off. So that's how it is. Reflex sympathetic incoordinated syndrome. What? Huh? What was that, Kidoji-san? Or its abbreviation, ARSIS. Simply put, when a person is exposed to intense stimulation, their nervous system is damaged. This causes them to lose consciousness and act autonomously for a brief period of time when similar situation is encountered in the future. I doubt Miss Momiji has such a serious condition, but it's possible that she has similar, milder symptoms. I get it, but at the same time, I don't. Alright, we don't have much time for conversation. Even with a person, it only takes 10 minutes to get to the Tengu's base from the library. The Tengu could send reinforcements at any time. That would be the end of our investigation. If we were discovered, the consequences would be unthinkable. Well, find the truth behind the case 1 year ago within an hour. I'll have to give it my all. Therefore, to prevent the worst case scenario, we need to station the lookout outside. I'll do it. Hiya, you. I'd love to see Mary-san, Yomu-san, and Kidoji-san investigating, but it's not like I'll be much help in here. In that case, shall be the alarm. I'll ensure you guys don't get caught by the Tengu. Hiya. That's the most dangerous job. I'm sure you know that. Very well, then it's decided. Miss Aya, please keep an eye on the situation outside. If you see a large number of Tangu heading our way, please let us know. Miss Mary, Miss Yomu, this is where we'll be investigating. Make haste, or else we may go back empty-handed. However, do be thorough, or else we may end up with nothing all the same. Right. Understood. All the best! I forget what button pauses to save. I need to figure that button out. Found it. I think that's the right button. Okay. Doesn't seem like this door has any clues on it. What's this? Oh, it's a light switch. What? Whoa, everything's dark all of a sudden. Well, what's going on? I pushed this odd thingy and this happened. Miss Yomo, I believe what you pressed was the light switch. Light switch? Oh. Just try pressing that switch again, Yomu. Press it again? Sure. Well, it's bright now. Miss Yomo, this is called a light bulb. It's able to emit light through electricity. Without it, we'd be in total darkness once the door was closed. I would guess the Tangu installed them after the murder. Lights have been installed on each floor so the building can be illuminated at all times. What you just pressed is the switch to the lights. It's able to turn off and turn on the lights at any time. Okay. They probably consider the fact that the murder occurred in darkness, so they installed lights to prevent something similar from happening again. Just so you know, there should also be a light switch at the south entrance. It also controls this floor's lights. I getcha. Incidentally, both switches are on the right now. Turning off either of the switches will extinguish all lights on this floor. Uh-huh. Recorded the light switch. Good. Books about the history of yokai. Books about Gensokyo's history. Books about Gensokyo's history. Books about the Yakumo family's history. Book about history of yokai. Books about Gensokyo's history. Books about Gensokyo's history. Books about the history of yokai. Books about the study of barriers. Books about the Kappa's history. Kappa's history. Study of barriers. Miss Yomo, did you find anything, Kidoji-san? It's hard to say. A year has passed and it's unknown how many times this library has been cleaned. I doubt any obvious clues can be found here. Huh. Oh, I have something to give you, Miss Yomo. Here is information regarding some of the evidence from 1 year ago. You should take them. A recorded photograph. Recorded autopsy report. The interior diagram. Got it. Thanks, Kidoji-san. Don't mention it. This is a lot less than I thought, though. Forensics in Gensokyo was not very advanced 1 year ago, so there wasn't much evidence we could obtain. If only you knew what you learned 1 year ago. By the way, do you have that blood illuminant with you, Kidoji-san? Yes, I have it on me. I have on me right now. Let's use it to see if there's any residual bloodstains. Very well. However. Anything, Kidoji-san? Presently, I cannot say. Oh? Luminol is sensitive, but observing it under normal circumstances requires special apparatus. As I brought much too many things with me today, and the goggles required to use it are quite sizable, I did not bring it. Oh. What do we do now? While I do not have the special goggles with me, the blue glow emitted by luminol can still be viewed under dim or dark conditions. If only there were a way to darken the environment. Oh, come on, smart guy. Darken the environment? Come on, smart guy. This bookshelf. Kidoji-san, the body was found in front of this bookshelf, right? Yes, the body was found leaning against this bookshelf. Is there anything you can tell me about this bookshelf, Kidoji-san? I was not involved in the investigation, but according to Miss Mary's findings, most of the books at the top of the bookshelf had fallen off. The books at the top had fallen off. Correct. Many of the bookshelves' books had fallen off, and most of them were from the upper layers. If the bookshelf was shaken forwards and backwards, the top would shake more. So it's only natural that books would fall, then the top would fall off. A precise judgment, Miss Yomu. Me and Miss Mary think so too. As for why the bookshelf was shaken, the only conclusion at present is the impact of the body hitting the bookshelf. The sitting book was also blocking most of the books in the lower layers, hence why most of the fallen books are from the upper layers. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. Books about the study of souls. The study of souls. This bookshelf. Something the matter, Yomu? Well, regarding this bookshelf, I investigated it too back then and found a large portion of books on the bottom layers had fallen off. Okay. Clean. I also found a handprint in a very strange position at the ceiling of the top layer, so likely related to this case. Though you can't see it anymore, it was something like this, as if the bookshelf's top layer were grabbed from upside down. It's very odd, and to this day I still don't know how it got there. Okay. The handprint. I'll be right here if you have any questions. Feel free. Okay. Awkward. Awkward. Yomo, could we put our differences aside for now? Huh? Oh. You're curious about what I'm looking into, right? Truthfully, it's not anything important. It's just been bothering me. There was once a book titled Honest Man's Death, Volume 2 in this bookshelf. It should be here, but it's been missing ever since that case 1 year ago. It's a very special book. I'm not sure what's written in it, but it seemed to be related to psi waves. No. Maybe it's unrelated to the case, but the book went missing immediately after the case, so it's been bothering me ever since. I wanted to talk to you about this book, but maybe we don't have time right now. Maybe sometime in the future. Yeah. No run button. Books about the Yokai Mountain history. Books about Yokai Mountain history. Book about Yokai Mountain history. Book about the study of souls. The study of souls. The study of souls. The study of souls. Ouch! Watch out, there's a barrier there. Couldn't you have said that earlier? Anyway, it doesn't seem like we're going up there anytime soon. It doesn't seem the case has anything to do with the upstairs either. Let's leave it alone for now. Yeah. There's no run button. Yomu can't run. Books about Tangu history. Tangu history. Tangu history. The blood illuminant needs a dark environment. This is... Jesus, how much did you spray? That's... traces of blood. That's more than traces, my guy. No way. Bloodstains go from here all the way to where the body was found. And the traces are from dragging. The body was moved. Yes, also, Miss Yomo, take a look at these footprints at the south entrance. There's only one type of footprint, and from its shape, we know that it didn't come from the stilts Tangu wear. We can be sure that the footprint did not come from a Tangu. The Tangu stilts, they're single-toothed Geta, right? Wooden sandals with a tall piece of wood at the bottom, used for navigating mountain paths. Which means they weren't left by Aya or Momiji-san. The footprints are very clear, so they were most likely left by the true killer. It seems after leaving the body there, the killer fled while no one was around. But why go out of their way to move the body there? Don't tell me it was to frame Aya. It's hard to say. Insofar as what we know, it could be a complicated maneuver with a deep motive. Or it could be as simple as the killer coincidentally placing the body there. In any case, it's one of the mysteries we cannot solve at the moment. However, we do know something else now. This is where the murder truly took place. But that would mean... Ah! It's nothing. I just found a few things at this location 1 year ago, so a couple things came to mind. I see. First, let's turn the lights back on. Done. Thank you, Miss Yomu. The traces of the body being dragged and the true location of the murder, I suggest writing it down. Okay. Blood. More blood. Chat, why are you panicking? I don't know why you panic. Nothing's happening. Rainbow's not here. She's in jail. Check Twitter. The body was moved. What could this mean? It's just some blue blood, man. Could you please turn off the lights again? Huh? Oh, sure. That's... Have you noticed it too, Miss Mary? What, you mean the footprints that walk towards the blood down there? Huh? Did you find something? Take a look for yourself, Yomu. Look at the ceiling. Okay, I can't see the ceiling. What? That's a bloodstain on the ceiling. Indeed, and judging from its position, it's directly above this pool of blood. What? There's a bloodstain on the ceiling where the murder took place. What on earth? Is there a bloodstain all the way up there? And it's right above the crime scene, too. But the ceiling is at least 200 feet high! From the way the blood is distributed, the victim's blood could not have splashed all the way up onto the ceiling. It doesn't seem like it was caused by a splash either. 200 feet high. How did we get luminol up there? More so a collision. A collision, what collided? I'm not sure, but it must have been something with blood. Something stained with blood collided into the ceiling above the crime scene. That is the only explanation right now. Let's make a note of it. Switch the lights back on for now. A blood stain above the scene of the crime. What could this mean? I think that's everything. Huff. Huh. 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 Okay, I'm almost there. You can do it, Hiati. She's gonna get ooga booga'd. This crossroad, if I remember correctly. Halt. Oh. Big Ron. Huge Ron. Up ahead is Myohiga, the residence of my master. No humans are allowed to step inside. I don't know what you want, human, but you better not take another step further. What are you planning, human? Speak. I can do this. I'd like to see Yukari Yakumo. Silence. A lowly human like you thinks she can address Yukari-sama directly. My neck. You're quite the rule breaker, human. Disrespecting the sages, not knowing your place. Death would be a mercy for you. If it weren't for that gardener and reporter protecting you, do you think you'd still be breathing right now? No, Are you angry, human? Very well, if you have anything to say for yourself, go ahead. Talk as much as you'd like. Talk! Say you're innocent if you dare. What? Why? Why? Don't kill me. Ugh. I'm not surprised. I have no need to explain myself anymore. Close your eyes. It might not be as painful. Maybe. Huh? Oh, she's fine. Huh? Yes, it's me. What? Phone call. Understood. I'll be there in a minute. Of course she's unharmed. I can't guarantee she'll want to come, though. Very well. Thank whichever god blessed you with luck, brat. Fucking call. I can't. Feel my leg. Telecommunication. Have the two of you discovered anything? Well, you know what I discovered too, Kidoji-san. It's just that I'm not sure what they entail. Yes, Miss Aya is one of the mountain's Tangu, so perhaps she could shed some light for us. How about we go back to 1 year ago? Miss Mary, do you mean 1 year ago on the day of the murder around 7 a.m., Miss Momiji and Miss Aya discovered the victim's body beside that bookshelf. Before that, at 6 a.m., Miss Momiji and the victim exchanged shifts with the previous guards. The victim was still seen at this time, so we can be sure the murder occurred after that. In other words, oh no, what happened here? What do you mean in order words? The murder likely occurred after Miss Momiji started her shift at the east entrance and before the body was found. No shit, Maribel. The murder occurred before the body was found. No fucking shit. Roughly 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. During this time, we know that the only people who entered the library are the victim, Miss Momiji, and Miss Aya. And according to our findings, the killer dragged the victim's body. It's impossible for the people inside the library to not notice this disturbance. Which would mean the murder should have taken place before Miss Aya entered the library, that is before 6:50 a.m. In fact, at 6:50 a.m., Miss Momiji heard two sounds coming from within the library. If what she said is correct, it's highly possible it's the victim being killed or the killer manipulating the scene. And in that case, the killer was still inside the crime scene at the time and only left the south entrance after. That means there's two possibilities. After the noise, the killer immediately fled to the south entrance. Or instead of fleeing immediately, the killer hid within the darkness of the library. If it were the latter, then it's possible the killer was still inside the library when Miss Momiji and Miss Aya discovered the body. Huh. What do you think, Miss Yomu? Me? Yes, what do you think, Miss Yomu? Was the killer still hiding inside the library when the body was discovered? I think... no. Yeah, under those circumstances, the killer would... surround them. What? What? While I carry, sneaking, library. Huh. Huh. Don't move. You're coming with us. Huh. Huh. Crap. Everybody run! What? What the hell? Don't let him get away. What is... Stay calm. This is... Hey! Oh shit! Panic! Ow! These floors are really hard. My right shoulder. Someone pushed it. It's chilly. What's going on? Yomo, stay calm. Don't let them get away. Moving now is unwise. Ugh. Here. Get the lights. Ah, yeah! That hurts. Not so rough, Momiji-chan. Huh? I got you. Don't move. I can't move. You're coming with me. Hey, everything okay over there? Are you okay, Yomo? I'm fine. Someone just pushed me. Hey, that's... Hey, are you okay? What? She... what's that? It's wet. Don't think that was there before. There's a handprint on her. I presume she hit her head on that bookshelf over there. She's not breathing. What? Do CPR, quick! Silence, how dare you! Adding assault to the Tangu to the list of charges. Arrest them. What? And just like that, the Tangu restrained all of us. Worried that fighting back would only worsen the situation, we had no choice but to obediently follow the Tangu. We were taken to where they detained criminals. On the way, the Tangu that hit her head regained her pulse. Thankfully, it wasn't anything serious, but what was waiting for us is prison. Save the game. I died. Why was Seija there? I mean, Seija's probably the reason we got busted. That's why she walked in with them. But she didn't say anything. That was surprising. Why are we all sharing a cell? Where the heck were you when they came, Aya? I was chatting with someone. Sorry. You were chatting with someone while being our lookout. Ha 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 ha. You aren't ha-haing your way out of this one. Well, Sanai really wanted to chat with me, so I had to respond to the conversation to avoid suspicion. Miss Sanai? She was outside the library too? Yep, I bumped into her while checking the south entrance and, you know, by the time I realized they charged into the library, it was already too late. To make up for it, I took a deep breath and made for the lights that would give you guys a chance to escape. But I didn't expect it to be pitch black in there with the lights off. After bumbling around, I got subdued by Momiji-chan. How are we supposed to react when you just charge in and turn off the lights like that? By the way, you weren't the one who knocked out that Tangu, were you? Of course not. I have better things to worry about. What about Kidoji-san and Mary? Moving around in darkness is very dangerous. I believe the same applies to you, Miss Mary. Yes, I was so shocked I could barely react. What about you, Yomo? I think I heard you make a sound. Were you hurt? It was nothing. Someone pushed me, so I fell down. Someone pushed you? Do you know who it was, Miss Yomo? Well, I'm not sure. It was complete pandemonium and I could barely see anything. All I know is someone pushed my right shoulder and I lost my balance. Is that so? Neither me nor Mr. Katsuda felt anyone pushing or passing by. Do you not remember anything else, Yomu? This? Ah, my right shoulder. Right shoulder. My right shoulder felt a bit cold after I was pushed. Turns out it had been stained with water. You can still see some traces of it even now. the invisible man. That seems like a handprint. Huh? Handprint, really? That is so. I've seen similar shapes during my study at Aete. While you can't make out the fingers, you can still roughly make out the shape of a hand. That seems to be the case. Now that I think about it, it does seem like it got on there when I was pushed. Whoever it was, their hands must have been drenched. In what, though? Speaking of, I'm not sure if any of you noticed, that Tangu that passed out seemed to have traces of water on her right shoulder, too. Ah, I noticed that as well. She was right in front of me and I had a good look at her. I know for a fact her right shoulder was dry before the lights went out. I see. Let's lay out what we know so far. When the lights went out, Miss Yomo and the Tangu were standing face to face between two bookshelves. Then someone pushed Miss Yomo's right shoulder eastward and the Tangu's right shoulder westward. Thinking about it, I also seem to recall the sound of two collisions at that time. Was that the sound, Miss Yomo? I think so. I heard it once before I was pushed. And the second instance of the sound was likely when Miss Yomo was pushed. From that we can conclude, if there was only one culprit, the culprit first pushed the Tangu towards the left before pushing Miss Yomo towards the right. Why? Those movements were very disorganized. It seems like the culprit was in a hurry. But why, though? Why they do? Say, Mary, what was that CPR thing you mentioned? Oh, that would be cardiopulmonary resuscitation. It's an emergency medical procedure where you put one hand over the other and perform chest compressions to restart a stopped heart. Although it seems like a Tengu's body is much more resilient than I imagined, not even needing CPR to recover. I see. So while we roughly know what happened now, we still have no idea who the person in question is. Also, we're still stuck here, so there's nothing we can do. There certainly isn't much we can do at the moment. If only we could investigate. Man. Sheesh. Didn't expect you guys to end up here too after just a couple days. That voice. Ugh. If all the people I could have had as neighbors, even here I'm down on my luck. Hello, you cold-blooded woman. You? It's Reimu-san. You've been locked up here, Reimu Hakurei? They said I needed a bit of punishment, so they threw me in here. Let's show the Tangu how miserable the mighty Hakurei Shrine Maiden can be. Ugh. You don't feel sorry for what you did. If it weren't for you, Aku-san... Oh, shut up! I know. Just shut up. Hey, that Kita Katsura guy is here too, right? I am. You. Were you that person from 1 year ago? To tell you the truth, no. That was one of my friends. Seriously? I thought you were. Miss Reimu, you aren't the killer behind that case a year ago, are you? Huh? What? Weren't you the one who kept accusing me like your life depended on it? You wanted the real Kita Katsura to prove your innocence, right? You know the person the real Kita Katsura witnessed wasn't you, but the true killer, so you wanted him to clear your name. What, are you trying to be my lawyer now? I'll tell you now, that's out of my budget. No, Miss Rainbow, I've had an entire year to think about it. Consider motive, means, and circumstance. I believe that you had absolutely no reason to take the life of that Tangu. And I refuse to believe that the person who took such good care of me half a year ago would actually be a cold-blooded murderer. Heh, you're well aware of what I did a few days ago. With my own hands. Aku. Aye. But it is something you regret very much, isn't it, Miss Reimu? What? All that anger, is it not because you're ashamed of what you did? A criminal who does not regret their actions would not at all be concerned about the crimes they have committed. God, you lawyers sure love to run your mouth off. Yes, you're right on the mark. I'm not the culprit in that case a year ago. Then you know who the culprit is, don't you? You lured Miss Sanai into playing go with Miss Momiji in order to create an opportunity for the culprit to sneak in, right? Also, the missing talisman was on Miss Aya. That means the only way the culprit could have bypassed the barrier is with your help, Miss Ramo. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, why would I do that? You had a deal. There was a book you wanted very much inside that library. The exact library the culprit needed access to, so you came to an agreement. You would help her get into the library, and the culprit would help you get that book. However, you never expected that a murder would come out of it, but at that point, there was no going back. You were stuck in the same boat as the culprit. Yeesh, you guys sure are good at coming up with stories. So many things have happened, Miss Ramo. Are you really going to continue keeping quiet? Right now, we're trying to find out what really happened 1 year ago. If you tell us the truth, there might still be a way out. You seriously think I'll just trust you like that? You know you're saying you can get me out of here when you're behind bars yourself, right? Miss Ramo? Haha, you guys are having fun. Oh, there you are. Hey there. Seija-san, what business do you have here? I recall you were there too when the Tangu stormed the library, Miss Seija. Are you here to make fun of us? Believe it or not, my dear, I'm here to apologize. Oh, sorry, I'm here to apologize. Okay. Huh? Earlier in the day, I saw Momiji-san working up quite the sweat carrying someone, so I asked her what happened. I heard a story and felt something was off. A person fainting from a heat stroke would make such an audible noise? Nah. So I gave the Tangu my 2 cents and you know the rest. If my hunch is correct, you're investigating that case a year ago, right? If I'd known sooner... Yeah, I think I'm gonna be sick. Oh, this is your fault, yet you're standing there with a care in the world. Reimu? Actually, yeah, you're completely right. Seriously? Well, that's all I personally have to say, my dear. Personally. Yep. Here she is. The best. Oh, shit. Oh, hello, boss. You. The Yama. I inquired about the situation with the Yakumo family an hour earlier. You were mistakenly arrested due to Yukari Yakumo asking you to investigate the library, correct? Huh? Yes, that is correct. It is? In that case, I have already given the Tangu my regards. You breaking into the library was simply a misunderstanding. The Tangu will pay the Yakumo family a visit in the near future. What's going on, Kidoji-san? It's a long story. Before we settled, I had Miss Hiyari do me a favor. Hiyari Marikiri. It was insurance. I had her hide near the library. I told her to head to Mayohiga if she ever saw a large number of Tangu marching in our direction. She was taken to Mayohiga a few days ago due to a case, so she should know the way. Once there, I had to ask her Yukari Yakumo to help us. So that's how it is. How did you manage to convince Yukari to help us, though? I had her say it would cause Miss Mary no small amount of trouble. That was all. Mary? For reasons unknown, Miss Yukari will absolutely not allow Miss Mary's life to be in danger. That alone is enough to enlist Miss Yukari's help. Okay. So, can we go now? You have been cleared of the crime of breaking into the library. However, there is still the crime of assaulting a Tangu. What? After negotiations with the Tangu, they have agreed to let at most one person free. Maribel Hearn, Yukari Yakumo made it explicitly clear to prioritize your safety. You may go. What? But, come out when you're ready. I shall wait outside. Hang on. Anything else? Please release Yomu. I will remain here. What? The hell? Yomu. What? Why? You were right, Yomu. I've been hiding for 1 year. Even now I'm trying to hide. I'm scared of the truth, of the dangers involved once the truth was finally out. If I'd stopped hiding for even just 1 day in the past year, this matter would have been resolved long ago. That's why I'm counting on you, Yomu. You're the only person left. The only person who can save me. And save Renko. Please, Yomu. For me. And for Renko. Unveil the truth. I understand. Switching is fine as long as it's voluntary. Are both parties in agreement? Yes. Yes. You can do it, Yomu-san. I'm sure you'll be fine. Do not worry about us, Miss Yomu. We will be fine. In that case, we should make haste. Goodbye. You go, Yomu. You're the main character. Mary. They didn't take her swords when they imprisoned her. She could have just cut those bars. Huh, color me surprised. Who knows? Actually, Miss Sage, there's something I'd like to ask you regarding 1 year ago. Oh? 1 year ago, the prosecution investigated the library before the defense. Is that correct? Yep, that's right. Was Chirno also present in the investigation? Nope, she's pretty much only sleeps back home, so I did most of the heavy lifting. I see. There was no barrier when we went to investigate. Was that the prosecution's doing? Putting my memory to the test, are we? I suppose. The Tangu turned off the barrier for me since I had to investigate, so I'd be able to enter and leave as I pleased. Which means before your investigation, the barrier was still active. Why the sudden questions, my dear? Nothing much. There was just something I was wondering about. Thank you, Miss Seija. I'm back home. This is the Human Spirit Agency. But I'm all alone. What? Just what could I do to mend this situation? Come on, Yomu, think! If I can't think of anything, the others will... I can't think of anything! Under such circumstances, just me alone is simply not enough. Do I have to let them down? Is there no other way? Is the only option to give up? What will you do? Give up. When you do something, make sure you do it until the very end. That is what I live by. Renko. Oh god, we're talking to ghosts. Renko, is that all it takes for you to give up, Yomu? That won't do. Uh-oh, she's going schizo. If I were in your shoes, I'd definitely keep going. That's why I'm here. That's why I could meet you, Yomu. Because I always keep going. I was once scared like you, Yomu. Scared that I wasn't up to the task. Scared that all my efforts would be in vain. But then I encountered something I didn't want to give up on. Something I didn't want to give up on. Ideals, someone I didn't want to give up on. Ideals I didn't want to give up on. That's why my philosophy is to do it until the very end. Come on, Yomu, stand up. If I can do it, then you can do it too. Because that's the Yomu I know. Renko! Renko! Schism. When you do something, make sure you do it until the very end. To find and save Renko, the very first request I gave myself when I took over this agency. Stop skulking about, Yombo Kompaku. You've gotten through everything the last 2 days. How is this any different? Everything related to that case 1 year ago. The murder in the library. The murder in the village. The murder in the shrine. And today's incident. Is there a common thread among all these? Something? Someone? Wait. Good. It's here. Aku-san, just what have you found out researching that symbol for the past year? Forgive me. I'll be taking a look. Wood rat. Red, red, and even darker red. An endless abyss of red, ever getting darker. The shadows of red are consumed by yet more red. This picture I found at the shrine, I must say, just keeps getting more and more interesting. I've decided to label my research according to the sexagenary cycle. Not for any particular reason, it just feels appropriate. Wood ox. Renosuke-kun told me this picture is a sigil and a symbol. If it's a sigil, that would certainly mean it's the markings of some kind of magic. What kind of magic, I wonder? If it's a symbol, judging from the symmetry, it most likely is man-made. What does it symbolize, I wonder? Perhaps I should widen my search area. Metal Dragon. I found it. A book with the same auras as the sigil. Honest Man's Death, Volume 1. Even without opening this book, I can feel that sense of familiarity. An even purer sense. The villager who had this book didn't know where he got it from, only that it was passed down by his ancestors. The Marikiri family. I suppose I should look into them in the future. But first I need to see what this book really contains. Metal Snake. I keep forgetting the contents of this book. Why? I can read all the words, but the moment I put the book down, I immediately forget everything inside. All I can remember is that I read it. Even if I try to copy down the words, the moment my eyes leave the page, I forget everything I had just read. If I have someone read it to me, the moment I heard the second word, I'd have forgotten what the first word was. But the Marikiri family told me they knew what the book's contents are. How odd. It's worth looking into the past of this family. Metal Rabbit. The butterfly's blood. That is what I'm missing. Seita-san told me about this when we talked. Apparently during her travels, she heard about special people who had the butterfly's blood inside them. When these people draw that sigil with their own blood and perform the appropriate gestures, they are able to use a mysterious power. Unfortunately, not even Seita-san knew what the power is, nor does she know how to make any use of it. It does seem to be related to this book, however. Wood Dragon. The Super Psyche and the Sub Psyche. Oh god. When I first heard about this from Mary-san, I didn't realize that it was related to what I was researching. When I sit down and think, I suddenly felt like those words were contained in that book. It seems reading that book for hours on end had an effect. When a life is born, they have a super psyche, which controls their thoughts. What? And as they interact with others, the subconscious of the others becomes their sub-psyche. This continues until a person's death. For what reasons are sub-psyches born? What exactly are psi waves? It would seem the answer lies in that book, and that sigil. Water paint. In this world, there was once only one with the pure butterfly's blood, and some others with half butterfly's blood. The pure blood and the half-bloods are passed down the bloodline, but no matter what, there can only be one pure blood at any time. For others, no matter how hard they try, no matter whose bloodline they mix with, there will forever be a half-blood. The exact reason is unknown, but one thing is clear. When two people with half butterfly's blood sacrifice their own life and draw that sigil with their blood, and with the method from the book, they will be able to control one's super and sub-psyche. For example, if two half-bloods die, one can draw the sigil with their blood, and with the method from the book, allow them to control the super and sub-psyches of another as they pleased. Mind control. That is to forcefully and completely imprint their super psyche into another's mind through psi waves, and then replace the super psyche of the target with your sub-psyche, thus allowing them to control another's thoughts to become another you. A terrifying power. Ooh, I'm theory crafting, chat. I don't want to say anything. But I'm theory crafting. And the more unique half butterfly's blood is used, the stronger the effect. And pure blood surpasses all half blood. No matter how many types of half blood is combined, it would never match the effects of pure blood. Furthermore, the books I have only a portion of the power. Of course, one book is enough to activate the effects, but if one had 2 or even 3 books, the power would unleash is terrifying to think about. This was all written in a book delivered to my doorstep by an unknown person. Perhaps someone knew about this in my research and wanted to remain anonymous, so they sent me this information and nothing else. Who is this person? Why do they know so much? Is what they say the truth? If it's true, where are these books? Where are the people with butterfly's blood? But that's not important. What has me worried the most is the book's final message. You will die at the end of today. Oh, I shouldn't have read that, Yomu. What did I just read? It's all so surreal and hard to understand. Ah, to hell with it. The present is more important. Aki's notes don't seem to be much help. No choice but to go with plan B then. I don't know. There were some aspects in there that were, I think, were allowed for informations to be brewing in my head. Oh, look at this small creature. Heh, I get you. In that case, I'm counting on you. Hey, why the rush? Huh? What if I said I'd rather see you captured by the Tangu and tortured so I'm not helping? What you gonna do then? What if I said, if you don't help me, Rainbow-san will forever bear the crime of killing 2 people? Straight for the neck, eh? You're the worst. A few days pass and you're a completely different person. I don't have time to waste on you right now. Every second wasted is every second they're in danger. My bonds with them is the same as your bond with Rainbow-san. Is that enough for you? Heh. Yeah, you have my support. I'll get a couple old friends from hell to help. They have no idea how loud an Oni can be. Thank you. By the way, what is it? When you finally get to the bottom of what happened 1 year ago, I'll accept it, whether Rainbow was the killer or not. So don't you worry, just focus on finding the truth, alright? There's always more means than ends. Understood? Again, thank you. I'll be off then. Okay, goodbye. No, all that information, chat. I remember bits and pieces of this game, and the information that was just given to us by Aki's book there, with the information I remember, ooh, I'll tell you, I'm brewing, I'm theory crafting, but I ain't gonna tell you shit, because then I hate, it's like the guy who, like, you're watching a movie, and he's sit there and he's trying to predict the ending 5 minutes into the fucking movie. Shut up! Just shut up. Just think about it on your own. Don't be popping off every 5 seconds. Is that the bite of 87? Don't be doing that. Why are you entering my home? Yomo Kompaku, that's quite the mouth you have on you. Who the fuck are you? Words like the library's murder, helpless Tengu, weak Tengu have been the talk of Genokyo. Oh no, not Genokyo. No. What do you think the consequences of this will be? I wonder. What do you think? What do I think? I think your head will more than suffice as a message to Gensokyo. However, out of our kindness, we have an alternate option for you. Whatever you said about us, retract it. I don't care how. You have 3 days. Erase any unfavorable comments about us and your life will be spared. Otherwise, we'll be putting your head on display for all again Gensokyo to see. How about it? Would you like the first option or the second option? I'll let you say one word. Moron. You! Get her! You! Alright, you said your piece. Now it's my turn. Aya Shimemaru is the fastest in Gensokyo in the skies. I'm sure you know that. But she doesn't even come close to my speed on land. I'll also give you 2 options. 1, listen to what I have to say and do what I tell you to. Or 2, find out who's faster, your guards or me. Understood. Please continue. I want to make a deal with the Tengu. A deal. Give me a couple of days. I'll solve the 2 cases in the library and clear everyone's name. That includes the Tengu's reputation. In exchange, promise me that you won't do anything to the people in your prison and that you'll release everyone once the truth is revealed. You can either agree to those terms or see who's faster. Make your choice. 3, 2, 1. I hear you. I agree. Ugh, fine, I agree. I'll let everyone know about this. Are you happy? Also, temporary release Aya Shimemaru. I need her to solve the case. Very well. I will discuss this with everyone else. Come to the mountain tomorrow. Okay, keep in mind if I find out you went back on your word or did anything to the people in prison, I will come for you first. Understood. Yo. Phew, that was scary. It felt like my heart was going to explode. This is really not good for my health. Huh? Come in. Yomu-san, hello. I saw a couple Tangu storming out just now with the recent rumors. Are you okay, Yomu-san? Uh-huh. Couldn't be doing better. Okay. Well, pretty nice agency you have here. So, about what you want, I wanted to ask you. Do we have to get right into business already? Yeah, sorry, I'm in a bit of a hurry right now. It's fine, I get you. So, what would you like to know about Yomu-san? A few days ago, you ran into Aya at Yokai Mountain, right? Right, although a bunch of Tangu stormed into the building behind her, and Aya herself also hurriedly dashed in. I never knew what happened when I left. That's it, Sanae-san. I'd like to ask you if you noticed anything from those groups of Tangu. Well, I don't really remember all that clearly. I know they were in a hurry, and their faces were all red. Sorry, I don't have any valuable info. My memory is pretty foggy. No, that is very valuable. You said that a Tengu's face was red, Sanae-san. Huh? Yeah, I guess. Do you remember which Tangu in particular? Well, Momiji-san, probably. She was out of breath and sweating all over, so it should be her. Sweaty Miji. Okay, that's more than enough, thank you. Huh? Are you sure that's enough? Well, I'm happy that I was able to help you, Yomu-san. Uh-huh. With your testimony, Sanae-san, my victory tomorrow is guaranteed. Save the game? Yes. So that's what happened. What the heck? That was way too reckless, Yomu-san. If you had hurt that Tangu, you'd be making the enemy of all Tengu kind. They won't stop coming after you for the rest. I didn't think about it that much. There wasn't much to think about. Knowing you guys are still in here under the threat of death. Yomu. Speaking of, Miss Aku's research. Oh, that. It made no sense. According to what she wrote, it seems she received a book titled Honest Man's Death, Volume 1. Furthermore, it came from the Marekiri family. Family. Are you saying it's that Marekiri? Is that even possible? We can save that for the future. We know about your deal with the Tangu, Yomu, but what's your next move? What's done is done. The only thing I can do now is keep going. They should be sending someone over soon to release Aya and schedule a date for the case we're solving. Afterwards, I'll spend a few days giving the case a good look and figuring out the truth. That's all I can do. How long do you think solving the recent case and the case from 1 year ago will take, Miss Yomu? I don't know how to answer that. I suppose I could do it if I push myself for 4 or 5 days. Please be careful, Yomu. You're in Yokai Mountain, the Tengu's territory. Huh? What's that? Yomu-kan pakusama. Everything done on your side? Yes, the brass have made the decision. Ayesha Maiden will aid you in the case. However, you will only have 1 day. 1 day? What kind of joke is that? The decision has been made. You will have 1 day to solve the case. If you fail, that means you failed to hold up your end of the deal. That is all. The Dai Tengu wishes you luck in solving the case. Yomu-kan pakusama. What a joke. 1 day. You don't have much time, Miss Yomu. At this stage, you can only accept it. Damn. There's the possibility that the Tengu won't even give us time to investigate. I'm afraid we'll have to make do with what evidence we have. It's gonna be an uphill battle, huh? The situation does not bode well. Yomu, I have some information for you. What is it? When Miss Seija came here last time, I asked her a few questions. That allowed me to confirm one thing. 1 year ago, when Miss Seija investigated the library alone, the barrier was still active, and Miss Seija didn't notice anything out of place. Is that supposed to be important? I'm not sure, but my gut tells me it is. You should write it down. Okay. Got it. Alright. That's the most we can do. I believe in you, Yomu. Everything rests on you. Remain calm and skeptical, Miss Yomu. At the end of logic lies the truth. You always have my support, Yomu-san. Understood, everyone. Phew. I won't let you down. Are we going to court? Miss Reimu, you heard that too. Today may be our last chance to put everything to rest for good. Aren't you going to make a decision? I have to pee, chat. This is an unfortunate situation. You're here. I need to find a good time to take a piss. That should be everyone. Very well, Yomu Kanpaku. After taking your deduction process into consideration, the Dai Tangu has assigned me as your opponent. Seija Kishin, who is beside me, has been assigned as my assistant. Surprising. That assistant again? What can I say? There's been so many good shows lately that not taking the chance to see one in person just won't do, my dear. Whatever floats your boat. Seija Kishin, huh? I hope this doesn't mean trouble. Although, is it really a good idea to go at a case we haven't even been given time to investigate? Just gotta... When you pause it, it advances the text. They say we're pressed for time, so not a second must go to waste. Therefore, we shall not waste time on meaningless investigations. Moreover, didn't you investigate this place to your heart's content when you snuck in before? Well... It's fine, Aya. We're this far into the game. Let's play by their rules for now. Okay, Momiji-san, tell us what you think. Okay. Firstly, the assault which happened a few days prior. Actually, I have to pee before... Chat, I can't focus with this. I gotta pee. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. We'll focus on the assault. Talking about murders! Alright. Let's talk about murders. Okay, let's go. A few days ago, the victim came to this library to apprehend 4 intruders. In the dark, someone pushed her, causing her to fall and hit the back of her head on a bookshelf, knocking her out cold. Said bookshelf is the one behind Aya Shimemaru. The victim has been standing around where Yomu Konpaku is standing. The culprit can only be amongst the 4 of you. Oh? Why? Isn't it obvious? At the time, everyone else remained still, and Aya Shimemaru had just shouted for everyone to run. The Tangu must have been pushed by one of you who were trying to escape. That's wrong! Calm down, Aya. Momiji-san, putting aside us for now, when you say everyone else remained still, how did you subdue Aya at the southern door? Huh? Went there? Then you were also moving about, am I wrong? Right. Wait, are you suspecting me? Calm down, I'm merely stating a possibility. You don't have anything to prove we moved, nor do you have anything to prove you didn't. What about you, Sage-san? Oh dear, pointing fingers at me now, are we? Moving us around while everyone else is panicking is something only an idiot would do. I have no obligation to help the Tangu anyhow. The same reason as Kitaoji-san. In any case, we have no way of knowing who moved or who didn't move in the dark. Wouldn't you agree? Well, you're right. If that's what you're asserting, do tell us more. Very well. Yeah, logic battle. The real game starts. I don't know what buttons do that. The victim had been standing between 2 rows of bookshelves. Okay. There we go. In that case, whoever bumped into her must have come from her front or back, such as you. I assume maybe to have switched off the lights, darkening the library, in order to aid your escape. So you, as the fastest on land against Sokyo, dashed towards the southern entrance. That's when you bumped into that Tangu and knocked her unconscious. Okay. I think I know what to do here. I just don't remember what button is what. I have to check my Joy-to key. Let me see. What's A and S? What is button? The fuck is button 7? What is that? What button is that? What is button 7? What? No, that's for L6. There is no button 7. Oh, that's button 7. Figured it out. That's button 7. That's button 7. Okay. Okay. But I need to change my press button because button 5 is L button. Doesn't work anymore. So, let's take this A. Okay. There we go. 2 rows of bookshelves. A rock and a hard place, huh? Tactically speaking, it's the fatal funnel. Gain control of a crucial choke point and you deny the enemy freedom of movement. The Tangu must be pretty well trained to take control of the scene so quickly. Without question, we Tangu tribe over everything, though you seriously need to work on your response to sudden developments. That's just because you guys were playing dirty. Such as me. Yes, she was standing at the north, and you were the closest to her. You had to pass through her to get to the south entrance, but that's assuming I did go towards the south entrance. Yes, but do you have evidence that you didn't head towards the south entrance? Well, I need to be patient for now. I'll wait until she slips up somehow. If that's all, I'm going to keep going. I should be able to switch off the lights, darkening the library in order to aid your escape. Aya, you sure gave us a surprise. Quit pretending like you're not related. Like it's not related. Wasn't it your plan all along? It actually wasn't. It was just a certain Tangu acting without thinking. Yomo-san, that hurts. Says the lookout who failed to notice the Tangu. I mean, you're not wrong, but Yomo-san. You guys, don't just ignore me. I'm your opponent here. Why do I suddenly feel sorry for her? Well, I didn't know that title made the rounds. Yeah, everyone in the mountain knows about it after that stunt you pulled a few days ago. I've never seen the Dai Tengu look so gloomy before. He was tearing up scrolls while saying, I'll show her. Uh-huh. I think you ought to avoid the mountains in the future, Yomu-san. You don't say. Do you really believe I was the one who bumped into her? Yes, you are the most likely person to have done that. Can you be certain about that? There were many people in the library. I'm hardly the only suspect. No matter how you put it, you are the most likely suspect. That is a fact. A direct attack isn't going to work. Guess I'll have to rely on evidence instead. Okay, so I think I know what to attack here. So... whoever bumped into her must have come from her front or back, such as you. Actually, I don't think that's necessarily... Let me see. Trace of water found appeared after the library went pitch black. Were bumped into me in the dark with a wet handprint on my right shoulder. So I'm pretty sure it's the handprint. Whoever bumped into her must have come from the front or back. No, I didn't think so. I can prove you wrong. It goes without saying. You don't get it. You almost sound be more careful! Okay. I didn't mean to click that. Okay. Stop! 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 Okay. Maybe it's her handprint. No, it's not. It's not her handprint. That's not the right spot then. I'm pretty sure this is the evidence I need to present. You the fast and land dash towards the south entrance. That's when you bumped into the Tangu and knocked her unconscious. Maybe it's here that I need to present it at. Let me see. No, it's not. Well, even if I die, it doesn't matter. Okay. It was the handprint. Barely alive, though. What are you getting at? You say I'm the culprit, but you're completely missing something. What? At the time, I was also bumped into. What? Why didn't I know that? You were at the south entrance by the time you could see I had already stood up. In the dark, someone ruthlessly pushed my right shoulder and threw me to the floor. If the culprit were among us, why would they push me to the floor? Furthermore, it was my right shoulder that was pushed. Kito, Oji-san, and Mary were to the left of me. If they wanted to push me, they would have pushed my left shoulder, moving me towards the right. Why would they push my right shoulder and move me towards the left? This proves that the culprit is undoubtedly not among the four of us. So, do you have anything to prove the contrary? No way. Bad rating. Cha-ching. Sometimes it's just about finding the right spot to present it, even if you know where you need to present, or what you need to present. The culprit must be someone else. What? The culprit isn't them? No. Even if that's true, even if you did get pushed, you must have tripped after pushing the Tangu. What? Momiji-san, first of all, I was pushed towards the back of the bookshelf to my right. How did I push the Tangu in front of me and then end up on the bookshelf behind me? Your face? It looks wrinkly. That's because you're getting on my nerves. Stop looking at me like that. Anyways, our suspicion should be cleared now, right? Now we should be thinking about other suspects. One moment, my dear. What is it? Oh, little Yomu dear, bullying the weak with evidence full of holes like that is very unbecoming of you. What are you getting at? I'll list it out for ya. First of all, you say someone pushed your right shoulder. This is backed up by what evidence? Those other two with you, Kita Katsuda and Mary, is what I believe they're called. You should know you're all suspects in this moment. A suspect's word can't be considered evidence. And no one else saw you being pushed, so witnesses are out of the question. Any physical evidence? There was a wet handprint on my right shoulder. It was left when I was pushed. Sure, is it still visible now? Are you able to present this evidence? Ergo, no witnesses and no evidence. That would be the first issue with your theory. Adding on to that, even if you were pushed, can you really be sure the culprit isn't among you? What do you mean? I heard a couple things about that Tangu before I came here. At the time, there was a wet handprint on the Tangu's right shoulder, likely left there when she was pushed in the dark. Tell me, little Yomu, you wouldn't know if the Tangu was pushed before or after you, would you? I was pushed right after. Good, good. In that case, we can determine the route the culprit took. There. Now, I'm sure you can clearly see where the culprit's starting location was. What? What? Aya Shimemaru, I'm afraid to say you're the only one whose starting location lines up with the culprits. Huh? You can't mean... Aya, did you... No, I didn't. I would never. I do trust you, but this is... Why is there a square in her name? What? Yomu! Why is there a square in there? How does it feel? Your own evidence ended up proving the guilt of your own partner. A textbook reversal, wouldn't you say? Ah! What the heck is going on? The route deduced from the order of events is only one Aya could have taken? Oh, one only. No, other people could have taken this route too, but Aya's the most suspicious. According to the principal against Sokyo, we can't shake off the charges. Crap! Think, Yomo, if I don't resolve this case today, everyone would... right. Thank you for the help, Seiji-san. Ugh. Yomu-san, Aya, don't worry. I can do it. I promise you. That's not what I mean. What I wanted to say was don't panic, Yomu-san. I know you're very anxious, Yomu-san. Forcing us to do everything in one day is way too unreasonable. I'm aware of all the burdens you carry, Yomu-san. But that's why you need to stay calm. Relax, Yomu-san. I'm sure everything has a solution. Aya, you're the suspect now, you know. Think about yourself first at a time like this. If even Aya is saying that, what am I panicking for? No panic! No panic! Calm down. You've always been an impatient one, Yomu. When you're calm, there's nothing you can't do. No panic. All right, the logic doors. Oh, this mechanic. I remember this mechanic. During the case, Aya came from the south entrance to turn off the light switch, causing the library to become pitch black. That was when I heard the sound of a collision. Likely it was the culprit pushing the Tangu which made that sound. And right after that, I was pushed myself. I fell towards the left, and a wet handprint was left on my right shoulder. By the time I could react, the lights had been turned on. Everyone aside from Momiji-san, who went to subdue Aya, was likely still in their original positions. Only the Tangu was knocked out beside the bookshelf. In this short period of time, what should I be paying the most attention to? The time, the direction, the people. That's right, the direction we were pushed in is what's worth thinking about. Who's to say it came from behind? How could they not have come to the right? At the time, I was standing face to face with that Tangu. Her right shoulder was pushed and she fell towards the west. My right shoulder was pushed and I fell towards the east. No matter how you look at it, the culprit's actions are strange. Why did the culprit push me and the Tangu in different directions? In such a short distance, the culprit had been dashing forward. They should have pushed people towards the same direction. Pushing us in different directions makes no sense. Which would suggest the direction the culprit pushed us in could be a major clue. Logic door! Continuing where I left off, the culprit pushed me and the Tangu in different directions. The reason for that may be very important. So let's think about it. In what situation would someone push another person in a specific direction? Pushing an obstacle in a specific direction could only mean the culprit was trying to turn. Right, the culprit was going to turn. When someone pushes something, they too would be pushed back by the force. This force could help one quickly change directions during high speeds. Like yesterday when I jumped behind that Tangu, I used the corner of my desk to boost my movement speed. I am not looking forward to the bill of getting that table repaired. But now isn't the time to worry about that. If that's the case, the culprit pushed the Tangu towards the left and yet pushed me towards the right. What sort of turn were they preparing to make? By pushing me towards the right, the culprit was going to turn left. That's right. The culprit started by pushing the Tangu towards the left, yet pushed me towards the right. That would mean when the culprit reached my position, they were making a left turn. I'm certain of it. That would explain why me and the Tangu were pushed in different directions. And from this we can conclude that Aya isn't the culprit. Ha. Aya, when I see you make that face, Yomu-san, I know what Seiji-san loves best is going to happen. Really now, consider me intrigued. You got one thing wrong, Seiji-san. Oh. The evidence I presented does not condemn my partner, but instead absolves her. Do tell. The Tangu's right shoulder had a wet handprint, and my right shoulder also had a handprint left by the culprit. However, me and the Tangu have been standing face to face. My right and her right were the exact opposite. Put another way, the culprit pushed the Tangu to the left and pushed me to the right. Why would the culprit do that? Wouldn't it be easier to just push everyone towards the left? The culprit pushed the Tangu to the left, yet pushed me to the right. Meaning, the culprit made a left turn when they were in front of me. Huh? That's... It slipped out, I didn't mean it. That's correct. The culprit suddenly changed the direction they were pushing, and when they reached Yomu, evidently the culprit took a turn. A left turn, to be precise. Huh? What about it? You still don't get it? The three of us were in to the right of the passage. What? Mary and Kino Oji-san were behind the bookshelf to the right. If I were the culprit, why would she make a left turn and specifically go for the left? I mean, I thought that was due because she couldn't see anything. If that were the case, she could have just retreated back towards the right. But in actuality, the culprit didn't go to the right. Why is this? The culprit even violently pushed me aside. Why would Aya do something that nonsensical if she were the culprit? Well, this proves that the culprit consecutively pushing two people has nothing to do with me, Mary, or Akita Oji-san. In that case, Aya has no reason to do such a thing. What? If Aya were the culprit, what exactly was she intending to do? See the sights at the north of the library and then away to rest at the south entrance? Well, Sage-san, what do you think? I think she's right. Say what? It's as little Yomu says. The culprit took a left turn. Sounds perfectly fine to me. But, are you supposed to be my assistant? I am. The Dai Tengu sent me here to assist you in finding the truth, my dear. And the truth has been laid out right in front of us. What else is there to say? No way. Do you have any more reason for suspecting Aya, Momiji-san? I think it's about time you put your biases aside. I don't care. Who's the culprit then? Oh? Regardless, the fact that you are the most suspicious hasn't changed. According to the principle against Sokyo, somebody's gotta go to jail. As long as no bigger suspect emerges, you are the culprit, period. Ace Attorney Law. Yomu-san. This law is stupid. If there is ever a time to say something, it's now. It's not about you being innocent. It's about somebody being more guilty. You can't argue against that, can you? Yeah, you're still the most suspicious. I wouldn't be so sure. What? An even bigger suspect, you say. Perhaps we do have something that fits the bill. Who is it then? Okay, I need to be absolutely sure about this. Now that we know the culprit turned left, a new possibility has emerged. A new possibility? Correct. As I said, the culprit pushed me towards the right in order to make a left turn. Then perhaps we could take it a step further. What does that mean? The culprit pushed me towards the right because they wanted to turn left. Is there anything else we can apply this to? Sage-san said the culprit went straight, deducing that the culprit is Aya, who was at the south entrance. By the same logic, if we consider that the culprit took a turn, everything changes. Quit it already. Just tell me who the culprit is. From the fact that the culprit took a turn, we can deduce that the culprit is most likely... Oh, man. No. Well, based on who existed... Why can't I scroll further down? Who the hell are you? Oh, you're the victim from last time. So Dai's profile isn't in here. Okay. Who pushed me? Momiji. I'm not sure if anyone here has considered the possibility that the culprit made 2 turns. Huh? What? As we established before, the culprit took a turn in front of me, so they pushed me towards the right. Then what if the culprit also took a turn when they pushed the Tangu? You mean... Think about it. The culprit left behind a handprint on both me and the Tangu. If I was pushed hard enough to fall to the floor, that Tangu may have been pushed with even greater force. If we take that into consideration, the culprit used such force to turn where I was, so it's highly possible they also took a turn at the Tangu. And if that's truly what happened. The culprit came from the east entrance. What? Exactly. Momiji Inubashiri, as someone moving around in the darkness, you are the biggest suspect. You... Impossible. I would never do such a thing. I thought you just wanted the most likely suspect. Well, there you go. Ridiculous. What proof do you have? No, that's not the right question. As you just said, according to the principle against Sokyo, in addition to the turns, you have become the most likely suspect. So the question is, what proof do you have? But I would never do that on purpose. Tell us your reason then. I won't lose. A battle of wits. Look at this fucking library, dude. I'm not the culprit. Likely story. They all say that. But I'm not the culprit. Throwing a tantrum here isn't going to help you. It just makes you look all the more suspicious. I don't care. I say I'm innocent, so I'm innocent. She's getting worked up. I guess arguing with her won't net me any useful information. Too bad, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'll have to break through her defenses with the evidence I have on hand. Why would I do such a thing? You said Aya Shimemoto had no reason to, so the same applies to me. Why did you bump into me in the Tangu? How would I know? Wait, no, I never did anything like that. And she slips up just like that, seriously. Why did she say that when she slipped up, though? How would I know? It's almost like she didn't know what she was doing. What on earth is she thinking? Culprit came to the east entrance is nothing more than a guess. I guess it may be, but it's still a reasonable deduction. You, stop scaring me with words like deduction. Isn't that exactly what you got me here for? To find the true culprit, regardless of how inconceivable it may be. Do you understand? So you are trying to scare me. Nope, she doesn't understand at all. I absolutely refuse to believe that. I'll use my logic to make you believe it. I didn't move an inch in the darkness. What? You didn't move an inch. How did you subdue Aya at the south entrance then? Well, I, at least try to make your lies believable. But I didn't. You're right, I did move. But only the south entrance to arrest the intruder. I didn't touch anyone else. Append that to your testimony then. Fine. Okay, maybe I did move, but I swear I didn't touch anyone aside from Aya Shimemoto. Are you sure? Of course. Are you saying you can prove I touched someone? Well, without evidence, it doesn't count. Without evidence. In theory, any evidence that exists must have been left behind when she pushed me and the Tangu. And yet none of the things directly points towards her. Is there any evidence I can get from Momiji herself? Did I? Why did you bump into me in the Tangu? How would I know? How would I know? It's almost like she didn't know what she was doing. What on earth was she thinking? This may be a double press situation. Let me see. Okay. Well, I got appended testimony. I didn't touch anything aside from Aya Shimemoto. Let me see. He was sweating all over when the Tangu rushed to the east entrance. Trace of water. Well, I mean, maybe it's just the handprint, right? Why wouldn't it be? Because the Yomu's handprint was the first evidence. And this handprint's gonna be completely worthless. Oh, I guess not. Alright. I did move, but I swear I didn't touch anything. Huh. Okay. There's only 3 things here related to this current case, so that has to be one of the 3. But I guess it's Sanai's word. What is it? Allow me to ask you a question. At the time were you sweating all over? I recall you were rather tired. You could barely utter a complete sentence. Obviously, thanks to you people. You tried carrying a Tangu up the mountain and immediately running back. Coincidentally, Sanai-san also mentioned seeing you like that when she was at the library, so it's probably correct. Sanai, what are you trying to do? I've been wondering, how exactly did the handprint get on me in the Tangu? It goes without saying the answer is because the culprit's hands were wet at the time. But why were they wet? Do you know, Momiji-san? Because... Exactly. The culprit's hands were very wet for one and one reason only. The culprit's body had been completely covered with sweat. That's not possible. Even if I was sweating heavily, how can you be sure my hand was wet? What if they were dry? Sweat from the hand does dry pretty easily. In fact, if it were just sweat from the hand, it wouldn't be that wet in the first place. But what if you weren't just sweat? I don't follow. You said it yourself before entering the library. You carried another patrol Tangu up the mountain. And that Tangu was covered head to toe in sweat. Huh? And by the way, that actually wasn't sweat at all. It was regular water. In addition to sweating bullets, you also had water from the other Tangu on you. That's more than enough to leave behind a wet handprint on me and the Tangu. Cha-ching! So, Momiji-san, do you have anything to say for yourself? It's not possible. I don't believe you! You can't believe what you did yourself? It's not possible! Another moment, my dear. Sage Akishin. Apologies for interrupting you a second time. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not sorry at all. Things wouldn't be fun without me butting in. Wouldn't you agree? What do you want to say? You know, there's one thing I hate in shows. It's endings with loose ends. There's always those directors who fancy themselves smart by leaving things unexplained at the ending. What terrible people they are, leaving us viewers on edge. You're saying there's still unanswered questions. Sharp as ever, little Yomu. Your logic was very interesting to watch, but there's one important piece missing. If you leave this question unanswered, the case can't be considered resolved. The question being, if what you say is true and Momiji-san dashed through and pushed you in the Tangu, ending up at the bookshelf to the left. For what reason would she do that? You said it yourself, Aya-san has no reason to do such a thing, so what reason does Momiji-san have? I wonder, what could be the motive behind this incident? That's... panic? Yeah, I have no reason to do such a thing. Lies, it's all lies! Maybe it was to stop Yomu-san and the others from escaping? The 3 of you only had 3 ways to escape. The west, the south, and the east. There were already Tangu blocking the west and south, and me and Momiji were at the east. Why would Momiji run all the way to the south? Also, the culprit violently pushed away one of the Tangu. Why would Momiji-san do that? Would that stop you from escaping somehow? Huh. I'm innocent. That's the truth. Yomu-san. What just happened? I suddenly just hit a roadblock. The reason Momiji-san pushed me in the Tangu, does that even exist? Or is the culprit truly not Momiji-san? But that's not possible. Momiji-san is the only one who could be the culprit. Everything makes sense there, yet the motive is still blank. In the darkness, why would Momiji-san act like that? Don't tell me you can't think of anything, little Yomu. I know. I know what it is. It's Arsis, baby! God, what could be the reason? Momiji-san's motive. You see, it's all nonsense in the end. I didn't do anything. Sage-san, thank you. God damn it, I keep talking. I got a bubble in my fucking throat. Trying to get rid of it. Oh. Ah, man. Sucky feeling. Alright. Psst, little Yoma, want a hint? No. Huh? What? If you already know you're in a dead end, stop trying to continue down that road. Reverse your train of thought, my dear. Reverse. Why would Momiji-san do such a thing? Don't think like that. Reverse it. Why would such a thing happen to Momiji-san? Why would such a thing happen to Momiji-san? Think about what happened in the dark, and then think about how you can link that to what happened to Momiji-san. What happened in the dark? In the dark, when everything was in total chaos, Momiji-san dashed to the south entrance, knocking over the Tengu blocking the path. Then she dashed towards me, pushed me over, and made a left turn towards a location none of us were in. When you think about it, the culprit's actions seem very erratic. Running in darkness, making a bunch of turns, pushing over both Tengu and intruders. If this was planned, there wouldn't be a need for such erratic violence. If it weren't planned, there's no rhyme or reason to the culprit's actions either. Thinking about it, I can't imagine anyone in the library doing that in a normal state of mind. It's just a guess, but it's possible the culprit was in an abnormal state of mind. If I follow that line of thought, abnormal state of mind, state of mind, state of mind, state of mind, mental. RSIS, baby. It can't be. There's no way. Thought of something, little Yomo? Yombo-san? Reflex sympathetic incoordinated syndrome. What? Or its other name. Arsis. No, I don't mean its name. I was asking what that is. When a person is exposed to strong mental stimulation, their nervous system is damaged. A condition where, when they encounter similar situations in the future, they will act unconsciously for a short amount of time. What does that have to do with this? Yombo-san, are you saying, yes, Momiji-san may have this condition? What kind of joke is that? Are you saying I'm mentally ill? 1 year ago, right in the darkness of this very library, you discovered your partner's dead body. This incident affected you so much that when you heard a noise from the east entrance a few days ago, double line! You unconsciously, unquestionably rushed to the east entrance. In fact, I was worried that an average person would be more on guard and could see through our plan. But you, Momiji-san, was traumatized. Huh. After that, when the library's lights went out, the pitch-black library made you relive discovering the body 1 year ago, triggering your condition. So losing consciousness for a brief period, you began to make erratic movements, bumping into me and the Tengu stumbling through the library. My god. This isn't funny. Stop joking around. I'm not joking. I recall every time we mention your actions in the library, you keep mincing your words. And when the lights were switched back on, you also seemed pretty out of it. Huh? Oh, I got you. Don't move. Is that not because you had just recovered from being unconscious? I didn't! Stop saying such nonsense! Did you really not? Can you truly recount what happened while the lights were out? Do you or do you not remember what you did in the dark, Momiji-san? Do you remember, or do you not remember? The library. As hard as you can, Momiji-san. What did you do? The library. 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 Library, library, library. Uh-oh. That's loud. That was really fucking loud. That's what happened. I never expected it to end like that. Momiji Inabashi passed out. She still hasn't woken up. We can't ask her what she did at the time, but I doubt we'll get any answers out of her anyways. How unfortunate. It's just as you say, Kinoji-san. The phantoms of what happened in that library have affected much too many people. Yes, but something just occurred to me. What is it? According to what you just said, Miss Momiji did what she did due to recalling the case from 1 year ago. Yeah, but she ran to the location where the body was not discovered. She ran to the location where where we just found out where it originally was. So why did she run to that bookshelf instead of running to the one that the body was discovered at when she was with Aya originally? But where she went to after bumping into two people is concerning. Where she went to. Indeed, the location Miss Momiji went to... oh. Ugh. Well, at least that's gone now. Nasty. That location is... Huh? Isn't that place... where the murder truly took place 1 year ago? What's up with that? Miss Momiji, recalling the case from 1 year ago, unconsciously headed to the true crime scene. But didn't we find that out from the bloodstains only a few days ago? How did Momiji Inubashiri know about it? Perhaps Miss Momiji wasn't heading anywhere in particular, and this is simply a coincidence. Or perhaps she knew about it all along and unconsciously went there when her condition acted up. But why? It's possible that... Yomu Kanpaku-sama... Are you here to tell us to hurry? Is there a need to rush? It's barely noon. No, I'm here to relay new orders from the Dai Tangu. Lock up Aya Shimemaru. What? Excuse me. Furthermore, the Dai Tengu has decided that Seiji Kishin-sama will be your opponent, Yombu Konpaku-sama. That is all. The Dai Tengu is excited to see the rest of your brilliant performance. They just... What the hell? That's seriously unreasonable. I suppose it's because Miss Momiji became the culprit. They didn't expect the cause of the trouble to be the one of their own. Thinking they'd lose face, they're doing this as a show of force. What a joke. How old is this Dai Tengu to be throwing tantrums like this? You can't say that either. The Dai Tengu has to consider what the rest of the Tengu will think. The bigger the group, the easier it is for simple matters to have an effect. Creating a power one simply can't overlook. Even so, this is two. That's enough. There's no use crying over spilt milk. This is how it has to be for now. So I have to deal with Seiji-san myself. The matter from a few days ago has been resolved, but solving the case from 1 year ago can be more difficult. Can be more difficult. You have to focus, Miss Yomu. Right, I got it. Not to mention it's Seiji Kishin. But Seiji-san doesn't seem to be an evil person I thought she was. The evil person. She's very smart. Maybe she'll lend me a hand. Oh. Oh no, I'll definitely give it my all. Yep, Yomu-san, I'm sure you'll be fine even without me at your side. Come back victorious. It's a rough road ahead, but as long as you remain firm and stay calm, you will reach the truth eventually, Miss Yomu. Believe in yourself. Yes, I promise I'll succeed. I only have two things to tell you, Yomu. What is it? First, I believe in you. Not because of your actions these past few days, but because you are Yomu. So don't give up no matter what, okay? Even if not for me, do it for Renko. Of course. As for the second matter, I'm not sure right now, so I can't tell you. But trust me, when we meet again, I promise you, I'll give you this important piece of information. For Renko, I'll do my best too. You. I understand. Alright, here I go. The remainder of my one-day deadline inside the library along with Seiji Kishin, I'll banish the phantoms from 1 year ago and put everything to rest. Yeah, save the game. Good job, Yomu. Why the grave atmosphere? This is more awkward than attending an inchling banquet and crushing the table the moment you start eating, my dear. That's quite the analogy. In any case, Seiji-san will be working together for the rest of the day. Heh, looking forward to it. So, does the smart little Yomu have anything to get the ball rolling? My memory is quite rusty. I may even forget how to breathe if no one reminds me. I don't think you can forget that. So, regarding the case, 1 year ago at 6 a.m. Nah, we can skip that part. The Tangu were very, oh so very insistent that I remember random details like that. Get to the point, little Yomu. The killer's identity. Any ideas, little Yomu? Well, not too long ago, we did discover a new suspect. Oh? It's related to what we figured out this morning. Ah, I get it. A Tangu killing a Tangu. Imagine the headlines. But is it truly like you say, that the true crime scene is that bookshelf over there? It is. It's a new discovery made thanks to Kido Oji-san's bloodstain test. We discovered large traces of blood there. We also found traces of the body being dragged to where it was found. Which is why the murder truly took place over there. Uh-huh. A most logical deduction. And when Momiji-san's condition acted up a few days ago... What do you mean a few days ago? Oh wait, yeah, no, you're right. She unconsciously moved to a location only the killer could have known. So you suspect Momiji-san of being the killer? Yes, although it's just temporary. Temporary? You can be more confident. Huh? If Momiji-san were the killer, it'd clear up quite a lot of mysteries surrounding the case. How did the killer get through the library's barrier? Momiji-san had 2 talismans. Even if one was stolen, she could still go through the barrier when she wanted to, such as to murder someone. From where did the killer get the opportunity? Momiji-san and the victim were both standing guard at their respective entrances. There were witnesses' testimonies, but she still had many opportunities. Before Aya-san came, after Aya-san left, and before Sanae-san came. It's completely possible for her to commit the murder within these time frames. What were the 2 sounds she heard coming from the library? If Momiji-san is the killer, I'd be willing to bet that's fake testimony made to confuse everyone. After all, she's the only one who claimed to have heard these sounds. Sanae-san, who was right beside her, has 0 recollection of the fact. Can we be sure Momiji-san is telling the truth? It's true. That answers a lot of questions. Okay, case solved. The killer is Momiji Inabashiri. Or is she? Ha! I knew you weren't satisfied with that answer. It does answer a lot of questions, but there are just as many questions unanswered. Such as motive. Why would Momiji-san kill her partner during her shift? Perhaps they had some differences. If that's the reason, why not kill him some other time? Why specifically kill him in the library while on duty? Why get herself into all this trouble? Doesn't she know? It would just make the incident bigger and make it easier for her to become a suspect. Perhaps something happened that day that worsened the situation, and Momiji-san killed her without thinking. Okay. Well, I can't say that's not possible, but getting to the bottom of it means looking into Momiji-san and the victim's past. From where are we going to get the time, little Yomu? I say we focus on what we know for now. Firstly, if Momiji-san is the culprit, then this should be the sequence of events. While no one is around, Momiji-san enters the library, using the remaining talisman she has on her. The victim, Shiro Keikimaru, also enters the library, likely the same way Momiji-san did. Who entered first, we don't know. But we do know the two ran into each other inside the library. Inside the library, Momiji-san attacks and kills the victim at the true crime scene. Then Momiji-san drags the body to where it was found, takes the books that was found at the shrine, and leaves. Outside, Momiji-san cleans up any visible traces of the act and continues standing guard at the east entrance. Finally, she enters the library pretending to look for the victim. To her surprise, she catches Aya-san in there. So she guides Aya-san to the victim's body, fakes being shocked, and reports the crime. This is what happened if Momiji-san is the killer. Any issues? Indeed. There are still a couple oddities. Okay, I hear you. Let's go down the list. Momiji-san attacked and killed the victim. Is there anything wrong with that statement? Oh god. Okay, let's read here. Light switch don't matter. Okay. Collisions to the front of the head, back of the head, right thumb was crushed, blow to the back was fatal, death was instant. Crime scene side for 3 exits. Okay. Don't mind me, just reading everything. Just reading everything. I guess it'd be the footprints, right? Momiji-san killed the victim in the library. If that were true, how would she have achieved her goal? Oh, whoops. Momiji-san attacked and killed the victim. Is there anything wrong with this statement? Did I hit the wrong button? How would she do it? Yes, it's very strange. Momiji-san is the killer no matter how you look at it. She should have used an even more effective means to her end. She has a sword. That is her sword. Momiji-san is an armed patrol Tangu. She constantly carries a sword around. And that day was no exception. It's not like she's the only person with a sword. If she wanted to kill the victim, the most logical way to go about it would be with her sword. But the autopsy report states the victim only has collision and crush injuries. It seems like she was killed with bare hands. Not a single injury from a sword. If Momiji-san is the killer, wouldn't that be extremely strange? Quite right. That lacks an explanation. If I were in her shoes, I wouldn't leave my tools hanging like that. However, this doesn't prove she didn't the killer either. Perhaps she was in a panic, or perhaps the victim managed to disarm her. Or perhaps she didn't bring her sword with her for some reason. That alone is not enough to clear Momiji-san's name. Let's continue. Momiji-san left the library after dragging the body. Is there anything wrong with this statement? This would be the footprints. Because the footprints don't match up to her type of shoes that she wears. Yes, this is also strange. If she left after dragging the body, the footprints at the south entrance should be hers. What footprints? You can't see it now, but we found clear traces of bloody footprints here a few days prior. From where the body was found all the way to the south entrance, we should be able to assume they were left by the killer. One thing, it is not possible that it was left there by other people or during some other time, such as when Momiji-san and Aya-san were leaving the library after discovering the body. That is very unlikely. Aya and Momiji-san found the body at the same time. They were about the same distance from the body, so if one of them got blood on their shoes, surely the other person would have too. Under these such circumstances, there should be 2 sets of footprints, or 1 clear set and 1 unclear set. But the results show that there is only 1 very complete set of footprints. The possibility of it being left when the body is very low. I see. Okay, I concur. In that case, this would be very strange. Tangu wears single-tooth gaita, wooden sandals, and very tall piece of wood underneath, used for navigating mountain paths. If those footprints were Momiji-san's, they would never be solid footprints like these. True, Momiji-san was wearing those outlandish shoes too. Any footprint she leaves behind would probably just be a solid square. A sold square. Yeah, so these killers' footprints shouldn't belong to her. The odd method of attack. The odd footprints. Evidently, while she is a suspect, it's still very odd. Exactly that. But at the present, Momiji-san is still in the role of most suspicious. You... please don't misunderstand. I don't tout something as drab as the principle of Gensokyo. What I mean is, this still is not decisive evidence. You're saying, the killer drew blood and the killer escaped. Doubt can be cast on what's been left behind, yet there is no decisive evidence of Momiji-san's innocence. Could there be a decisive contradiction? Evidence that clearly and undeniably separates Momiji-san and the killer. Only with a deduction backed by such decisive evidence will Momiji's name be cleared. You know what they say, third time's the charm. Present your third evidence, little Yomu. Absolve Momiji once and for all, my dear. Decisive evidence or a contradiction which proves Momiji-san isn't the killer. Does such a thing even exist? No, if Momiji-san is innocent, then it must exist. My intuition tells me she definitely isn't the killer from 1 year ago, and I have no choice but to trust it. The deciding factor between Momiji-san and the killer, huh? For that, I need to look at the actions of the killer. The killer entered the library, killed the victim who had also entered the library, moved the body, and then left the library. Left the library. Left the library. What do you think, Miss Yomu? Was the killer still hiding in the library? When the body was discovered, was the killer still hiding within the library? No. They weren't. Then this becomes a dead end! For now, I need to assume the killer was hiding in the library. Momiji-san was outside the library at the time. But she, like... I don't understand that, because the bloody footprints, like, go right across the fucking body. So, like, how do they get out? And based on where they were standing, they were kind of not really in a position where they were well hidden. But do I have evidence? Evidence that can prove this? Do you have the answer, little Yomu? If the killer had been hiding inside the library, they must have left after the body was discovered. Can I prove this somehow? Do I have any evidence that can help me? Evidence regarding what happened when the body was discovered. Only one thing comes to mind. Perhaps this evidence contradicts something else. Something we've all overlooked. Any evidence which proves Momiji-san is definitely not the killer. I'm looking. I think it's probably related to the bookshelves. This item means nothing. I have no idea what that could mean. Let's go over it again. Evidence regarding what happened when the body was discovered. Only one thing comes to mind. Perhaps that evidence contradicts something else. Something we've all overlooked. More bookshelves. This item means nothing. Oh no. You think it's a Sicilian bloodstain? No. I'm dying, Squirtle. I'm dying, Squirtle! I guess it's... I don't know. What happened when the body was discovered? Aya took a picture. I remember that. Oh, yeah, right. Aya took a picture. Exactly. That's it. Something you'd like to say, little Yomu. This is a photo Aya took when the body was discovered. It's not very obvious, but if you squint your eyes, you can see a stretch of blood left of the bookshelf where the body is. However, when the autopsy was performed later, the trail of blood had disappeared. I didn't notice that at all, actually. Aya Momiji-san immediately went to report the crime after the body was found. Thereafter, reinforcements arrived to secure the scene and the autopsy of the corpse. If the killer wanted to remove those bloodstains, it must have been right after the two of them left. I wouldn't be so sure. Perhaps the killer left before, but then remember the trail of blood was still there, so they hid near the library. Then when the two left, they immediately went in to clean up the blood. That's not possible. Don't forget about the footprints. They were left behind by the killer. Their foot was stained with the large amounts of blood, and they left the library. If those footprints were already there when Aya and Momiji entered the library, why are they so clean as if they weren't disturbed at all? Keeping in mind the library's walkways are rather narrow, it could barely fit 2 people at once. Aya and Momiji walked the same way as the killer. That would definitely disturb the footprints. You'd see damaged footprints or a couple other random markings. Meaning the culprit leaving behind Aya and Momiji leaving, before Aya and Momiji leaving, is pretty much impossible. There's no denying that the killer was most likely hiding in the library when the body was discovered, or when Aya entered the library. In that case, Momiji-san, who had been outside the library, is absolutely not the killer. The odd method of attack, the odd footprints, and now the completely different positions. With so many oddities, can you really say Momiji-san is the killer? Nice reversal. Yes? What a surprise, you just spent all that time clearing the name of the culprit you caught this morning. I must say, that's quite the interesting reversal, my dear. I suppose it's because I trust her. Trust? You trust the person you convicted this exact morning. I call it intuition. Other cases are other cases, and this case is this case. I don't want to view every suspect with bias. A wrong deduction will harm an innocent person. That's something I can't forget. Though I will admit I'm not that confident myself. Well, isn't this perfect, my dear? Your intuition is spot on, little Yomu. Not really. Also, I'm not little. Alright, let's stop the chit-chat here. Now, since Momiji-san isn't a suspect anymore, who else do you have in mind, my dear? Well, allow me to give you my 2 cents. We know for certain that the culprit passed through the library's barrier. There were 3 people with the talisman that day. The victim, Momiji-san, and Aya-san. The victim is out of the question, and you just proved it's not Momiji. So that leaves us with just Aya-san. It's not Aya. She told me she's not the killer herself, and I'm inclined to believe her. Oh dear. What budding flowers. Okay, little Yomu, you're the boss. Let's remove Aya-san from the equation. And with that, we've eliminated everyone who had a talisman on them. So, if we're going down this route, we'll have to pick from those who could dispel the library's barrier. Those who could dispel the library's barrier. Well, I can't say her being a suspect is a surprise. The shrine maiden herself, Reimu Hakude. Reimu Hakude. It's true, she was the biggest suspect in that trial 1 year ago. Using Sanae-san to distract Momiji-san, no known alibi, and she was the one who created the barrier in the first place. I also heard a couple things regarding the second trial, never mind the fact that I wasn't allowed inside. During the second trial, just as her guilt was about to be proven, a certain incident interrupted the trial. Right until the end, Reimu Hakude's suspicion never changed, only the trial stopped. That's true, but is Reimu-san truly the killer? I don't recall there being any decisive evidence 1 year ago. And there was what Kido Oji-san and Mary said a few days prior. No decisive evidence. Does that stolen book not count? Book? Oh dear, little Yomu, you should be the last person to forget that. 1 year ago, a book stolen by the murder was later found at the Hakude Shrine. In fact, you were the one to bring that to court, little Yomu. Hey, Reimu Hakude must have been fuming back then. That book. Of course, I didn't forget it, but seeing it reminds me of... No, I can't run away from it now, otherwise I'll be letting them down. What book was it? I don't really remember, but I think it was called A New Theory of Barriers, written by one Yanagi Gesaku. Judging from its name, I would assume it's a book related to barriers. I doubt it's a book either of us can understand, though. Barriers, huh? That does sound like something the Hakude Shrine Maiden would be interested in. It was originally in that bookshelf, you know, the one the victim was found leaning against. It was discovered because of a gap in the bloodstain. As far as I know, the Tangu repossessed it after the trial 1 year ago. No idea which corner they stuffed it in now. And how sad, the Hakude Shrine Maiden returning empty-handed. Stolen book. A book the Hakude Shrine Maiden could be interested in was stolen from the scene at the time of the murder. But I don't think that just this is enough to prove Reimu-san is the killer. Is it not? I feel the time and place lines up perfectly. Time and place? Yes, if Reimu Hakude is the killer, many things start to make sense, my dear. Is that so? Oh dear, it seems our opinions have diverged a tad bit, little Yomu. No objections to me speaking my mind. Go ahead. Firstly, during the murder, Rainbow Hakude was at the mountain. She even passed by the library. Rainbow Hakude was at the mountain. According to Sanae-san's testimony 1 year ago, Rainbow Hakude left at around 6:30 a.m. and wasn't seen since. From then on, she has no alibi. It's completely possible for her to pass by the library in this time. In fact, that was proven during the trial. Right, that's true. Rainbow-san herself said she passed by the library in court, though she said that's all there is to it. Can I trust her word, the word of the person who took Aki's life? Without an alibi, she had all the time in the world to enter the library and commit murder, such as time. Rainbow-san had time to commit the crime, is that right? Use that head of yours, little Yomu. Both she and Sanae-san left at the same time. While Sanae and Momiji-san were having their game, she totally could have been at the library too. Using this opportunity to sneak into the library, does that not make perfect sense? True, I can't deny that. Rainbow-san had sufficient time to commit the murder. That shouldn't be wrong. Is there a contradiction that arises from that? Plus, Rainbow Hakude was the one who made the barrier. I'm sure getting past the barrier you made yourself would be a piece of cake. Are you sure that's true? When you need something done right, you do it yourself. You know the saying, don't you, little Yomo? I don't think that's how you use that phrase. Heh, let's assume Rainbow Hakude made that barrier so strong not even she could forcibly break through it. Remind me again, how did little Yomo and her friends get into this library? Well, we used the talisman. And from where did you get said talisman? The Hakude Shrine. Wait! See, you get it too, little Yomo. The Tangu get their talismans from Rainbow Hakude, so it's only natural that she's sitting on a big pile of them herself. Your own little group proved this a few days ago, you know. I can't counter her at all. If all talisman holders have been cleared of suspicion, then she's the only one left who can get through the barrier. Such as place. Such as place? What the fuck does that even mean? Such as place. Even so, we can't be sure that there was the only ones who had a talisman. Yes, of course. And you're going to prove the existence of this person how exactly? Well, I suggest focusing on things you do know, okay? Okay. Another person having a talisman, I can't say there isn't the possibility, but proving that right now would be too tall a task. And with the book as her motive, our little shrine maiden fits the bill perfectly, my dear. Her motive was the book. Think of it like this. Rainbow Hakude wanted the book, but she couldn't get her hands on it. Thus, she decided to break into the library. While searching through the library, she alerted the guards at the southern entrance and was caught. So in order to cover up her crime, she takes one look at the victim and pop goes the weasel. The victim was killed while Rainbow-san was searching for the book. The book was stolen and later found at the Hakude Shrine. That's the only picture it paints. In that case, did she or did she not find the book? Before she was found, that is. Oh, no, that's an interesting question. Generally speaking, not having found it seems more likely it. What? But she shouldn't have had the chance to search for it after the murder. She needed to manipulate the body, clean up the bloodstains, and so on. She was so pressed for time that she hadn't even left where Aya entered. Doesn't sound like she had time to go browsing the library. So, generally speaking, she had already found it. But the fact that the book still went missing after the murder, I'd wager she did find the book before she was found, that is. In other words, you're saying Rainbow-san killed the victim where she found the book. And with the book as her motive, our little shrine maiden fits the bill perfectly, my dear. Her motive was the book. Think of it like this. Rainbow Hakude wanted the book, but she couldn't get her hands on it. Thus, she decided to break into the library. While searching through the library, she alerted the guard at the south entrance and was caught. So in order to cover up her crime, she takes one... Okay, so I just read this. Okay. Rainbow killed the victim where she found the book. So the issue here is related to the bookshelf. So the book that was missing, I need to check which bookshelf this was on. Found a rainbow just when it originally came from the bloody bookshelf. Now the problem with that is that the source of the true crime scene was the clean bookshelf. And I guess this doesn't actually work. Okay, try that again. Okay, this could prove you wrong, little tiny Yomu. Are you forgetting the fact that the lives of all your friends hinge on you? Would you like to take this seriously? I need to think things through before presenting. Okay. Such as time, such as place. What the fuck does that even mean? It is not the book here. Well, I've been pushed to the edge of the screen. Okay. Alright, so I was right, but the piece of evidence that says that the bookshelf is which bookshelf is the proper murder scene is not related to the bookshelf evidence itself. It's related to the bloody... Oh, okay. So I was right. But I was clicking the wrong evidence, even though I was completely 100% right. Indeed. Little Yomu. Rainbow-san was discovered while searching for the book, hence the murder. This contains a huge contradiction. I'm all ears. It's obvious. If Rainbow-san was discovered while searching for the book, then the victim would have been killed near the bookshelf where the book was. In other words, where the body was discovered. Yep. Yes, we did all take for granted that the murder occurred where the body was discovered, but now we know that's not true. The true crime scene is another bookshelf which hasn't been stained with blood. That completely goes against what should be the case if Rainbow-san is the killer, thus proving that Rainbow-san is not the killer. I wouldn't be so sure. Maybe Rainbow Hakude fled in another direction. In the other direction when she was discovered, but her path was cut off at the true crime scene, so things escalated. Furthermore, killing the victim there makes no sense. We can only assume she only went there after the fact. It's not like the book she wants is there. Perhaps that bookshelf truly didn't have the book Rainbow-san wanted. But it could have had the book the killer wanted. Oh? There is in fact a book missing from that bookshelf. One no one knows about. A book titled Honest Man's Death Volume 2. What? That's it. We don't know who the killer is, but I was once told that one of the books on that bookshelf has been missing ever since the murder. Is it not possible that that is the killer's true goal? And if that's true, we know why the killer dragged the body to where it was found. To get blood on the book about barriers, plant it at Hakude's shrine, and use it to frame Rainbow-san. What do you say? Don't you agree that this is completely within the realm of possibility? If we think of it like this, it explains why the killer would move the body like they did. They killed the victim, dragged the body to the other bookshelf, cleaned up the blood, and made it look like this is where the murder occurred. All in order to make people notice the fact that the book on barriers is missing, thus casting doubt on Rainbow-san. Otherwise, why go through all the trouble and risk being discovered by hiding inside the library and creating a fake crime scene? It's all to shift the blame onto someone else. That's what the killer was trying to do. Heh. I believe you're overlooking something, little Yomu. Stop calling me that. What? Little, tiny, inchling-sized Yomu. Oh, fucking single-cell organism Yomu. Stop it. The truth, a fact that changes everything. What is it? A fact that proves Rainbow Hakude is innocent. Huh? It's just as you said. If Reimu Hakude were discovered when she found the book, then the murder could have taken place where it did because she fled there. We know for certain the victim entered via the south entrance, which leaves us with two possibilities. 1. The victim pursued Reimu Hakude from the east. In that situation, she could certainly flee towards the unguarded south and not the dead end that is to the north. So in this circumstance, Reimu Hakude would never run into the victim at the bookshelf. 2. The victim pursued Reimu Hakude from the south. In this situation, fleeing towards the north would just be trapping herself in a corner, so she would definitely flee towards the east. And without knowing whether it was to the east entrance is guarded, surely anyone would choose the south entrance, which they know is unguarded. Well, it depends on her intelligence, too. Maybe she's dumb enough to flee towards the east. In any case, she definitely would not flee northwards. So given the circumstance, Reimu Hakude would never run into the victim at the bookshelf where the victim was killed. And that's it. Reimu Hakude being the killer is not possible. Yes, that makes sense. But why are you the one telling me that? Do you have a problem with that, little Yomu? Weren't you the ones who asserted that Reimu Hakude is the killer? The one who accused the Shrine Maiden was the one to prove her innocence in the end. A most interesting reversal, no? That's it? That's the reason? I gotta have my fun somehow, dear. Okay. Well, that's not entirely true. I needed to open with a tiny test of your intelligence, little Yomu. How else am I supposed to know how sharp your mind is? From the results, I must say, you're half as smart as I imagined you to be, little Yomu. Is that a compliment, or is that an insult? It can be neither or both of those. Well, I say that about sums it up. Time to move on to the next topic. Now that Reimu Hakude is out of the question, who could be the killer? I wonder. Suspects, huh? We've eliminated everyone who had a talisman and the creator of the barrier. So, with those people out of the question, who else could have gone through the barrier? I'll say what I said before. We have to pick from those who can dispel the barrier. Aside from Reimu Hakude, someone who can dispel the library's barrier. Fun fact, aside from one ancient yokai, barriers are the specialty of Shrine Maidens. That's true. When the topic of people who would be interested in barriers came up, Reimu-san, the Shrine Maiden, was the first to come to mind. With that in mind, since a Shrine Maiden created the barrier, it should also take a Shrine Maiden to dispel it. It takes a Shrine Maiden to dispel it. Is that not so? The Hakude Shrine Maiden's forte is maintaining the Great Barrier. Barrier, Shrine Maiden, same thing really. So, from that we deduce that the person who broke through the barrier must also be a Shrine Maiden. Wouldn't that mean... You follow me, little Yomu. There's no way. Snai Coachella as the only Shrine Maiden against Sokyo that's not Reimu. What a distinction. She would have the ability to dispel the barrier. But, can it be her? Can it not? She shouldn't have had the opportunity to commit the murder. She finished her game with Reimu-san, then had her game with Momiji-san, then left immediately after. Are Aya and Aya, and, that's an and Aya entered the library soon after that. I'm certain of it. She didn't have the time. No, you're forgetting a tiny, tiny time frame. What? When Momiji-san stopped the game, Sanae-san left the east entrance first out of everyone's sight. It was only after that that Momiji-san left and Aya-san entered the library. Momiji-san leave. Not a very large amount of time, but if you're fast enough, you can loop around westwards towards the south entrance and enter from there. But Momiji-san heard two sounds during the game. By then, the victim must have already been killed. No one can prove that the killer made those sounds. What if the victim made them? What if the victim made them? The victim. Let me spell it out for you. The victim, for reasons unknown, enters the library. Sanae-san then enters from the south and runs into the victim. In order to cover up her crimes, she silences him. That would explain why the killer would hide inside the library. The murder occurred just a few minutes before Aya-san entered. The killer had no time to clean up the scene, so she was trapped there. After the two left, she hurriedly cleaned up the bloodstains, steals the book on barriers as framing material, and leaves the scene. There's no way that's possible. Ah, but can you prove it's not possible? Again, the time and place lines up too. Time and place again. Yes, little Yomu, better put your mind to work, my dear. Brain hurty! Brain hurty! Firstly, during the time of the murder, Sanai was right near the library. She even encouraged Momiji-san to play Go while on duty. She went near the library simply to play a game of Go, because of Rainbow-san's encouragement. Who knows, maybe that was true only at the start. Huh? Take for example, she was just intending on playing a game, but after she left, she suddenly thought of a book she wanted in the library. So she sneaks to the south entrance, realizes there's no one there, and goes in. Unfortunately for her, the victim was inside, so she gets caught red-handed. She panics and pop goes the weasel. Is that what happened? Can you say it's not what happened? Well, you're right, it's possible. I jest. I didn't think you'd actually believe me, my dear. Rather than dwell on why you don't focus on things you already know. Rather than dwell on that, why don't you focus on things you already know? After the game ended, there just so happens to be an opportunity for her to sneak into the library. Such is time. Stop saying that! Time, is that really how it is? From Momiji-san hearing the sound and leaving to Aya-san entering a short a time as it is makes it impossible as long as you hurry. How long does it take for you to run around the library, little Yomu? About half a minute, I guess. Yep, that's right. She had plenty of time. That sounds right. Wait, no, why are you using my speed? I'm not just messing with ya. I didn't think you'd pondered for real, my dear. Rather than dwell on that, why don't you focus on things you already know? Plus, Sanai-san is also one of Gensokyo's Shrine Maidens. She even had the power to rival Rainbow Hakude in the past. Don't underestimate her. Sanai-san had power to rival Rainbow Hakude's. It wasn't long after your fight with Rainbow Hakude, little Yomu, that Moriya's shrine came to Gensokyo and declared war on the Hakude shrine. Yeah, if memory serves, Rainbow-san beat the daylights out of everyone inside that shrine. You know, when you put it like that, they don't sound all that powerful. That's because our little shrine maiden is prone to excessive violence. But even so, they're new faces that dare to challenge the de facto protector against Sokyo. Just that alone tells you that they're not to be trifled with, no? That's true. In any case, we don't have the time to figure out how strong Sanai-san is. We can only guess. And Sanai-san being the shrine maiden she is, having the power to break through the barrier is one very plausible guess. Okay. Is there really no way I can refute that? With her knowledge on barriers, breaking one is entirely within the realm of possibility. Such is place. Sanai-san broke the barrier. I thought she passed through it. Normally, if she could pass through the barrier as she pleased, that would probably mean the barrier may as well be paper to her. If Sanai-san were that powerful, do you think Rainbow Hakude would have had such an easy time wiping the floor with her? That's true, too. Sanai-san broke the barrier. If that's really what happened, then the south entrance barrier should be gone. Wait, if that's the case, wouldn't someone's actions that day be worth paying attention to? I guess the book that went missing from the scene was her motive. I wonder what she needs that book for. Honest Man's Death, Volume 2. Are you familiar with that book, Seiji-san? I should be asking you that question, little Yomo. I only heard about that book a moment ago. If I were to guess, is it a storybook? Well, maybe. Is it a coincidence? Aki-san also mentioned this book when researching that symbol, although hers was Volume 1. A book able to control others via the super psyche. The butterfly's blood is somehow related to this case. I'm not sure yet. Hopefully I can figure that out in the future. I'm guessing the book that went missing from the scene was her motive. I wonder what she needs that book for. Okay, so what we established here is that because of the barrier being broken in the south, someone's actions do not line up. So we need to present something here. Let's take a look real quick. Nope. Nope. Enter library, when do you go to the south entrance? Everybody, say the south entrance. Ice Fairy, Seija. Okay. I want to back out. Let me see. Diagram of the crime scene. Okay. No, it's not your own testimony. I think it's a character I need to present here. No? It's something here. I don't know what it is, though. Someone's actions. With a broken barrier. Okay, it was Momiji. I kind of thought it wouldn't be Momiji based on the fact that we haven't been talking about her, but I guess we have yet to establish why she went to the true crime scene in her little episode there. So maybe this is why. Well, she'll probably explain it. Little Yomu, Sanae-san broke the barrier and snuck into the library. This contains a huge contradiction. I'm all ears. It's obvious if Sanae-san had broken the barrier and entered the library, a certain someone would have noticed it. To be specific, Momiji-san, who went to search for the victim through the south door. Yep. And yet in her testimony 1 year ago, she claimed to have used the talisman to pass through the barrier. Through that door. That means when she entered the library, the south entrance barrier was still there. Sanae-san couldn't have broken the barrier and entered the library at all. Thus proving that Sanae-san isn't the killer. I wouldn't be so sure. Maybe the incident was such a shock to Momiji-san that she forgot about it. You proved this morning, didn't you? That whatever syndrome, it's completely possible for her to forget a small detail like that. Perhaps, due to her condition, we can't be entirely confident in Momiji-san's testimony. But what about you? Oh. You talked about it with Mary a few days ago. 1 year prior, when you went to investigate the scene, you couldn't get in because of the barrier. Ah. That's right. Are you careless enough that you wouldn't notice that the barrier was gone and ask for the Tangu's aid? Are you saying your memory is just as unreliable? What do you say? Don't you agree that Sanae-san couldn't have broken the barrier and entered the library? Oh man, it just keeps going! So no matter how you go about it, Sanae-san could not have entered the library. The killer entered the library, yet Sanae-san had no talisman, and the barrier was still intact. Sanae-san can't be the killer! Eh. Little Yomo, you're overlooking a fact again. What? A fact that proves Sanae-san is innocent. Huh? Ugh. Every time Reimu Hakude uses spiritual powers, there'd be a loud noise. Just like that. I'm sure it's the same for you too, little Yomu. Oh, come on now. What do you mean, the fucking spell card activation sound? Everybody hears that? For real? Well, I wager it's the same for everyone against Sokyo. There'd be a loud noise whenever anyone uses spiritual powers. And naturally, for Sanae-san to destroy the barrier, she need to use her spiritual powers. Sanae-san using her powers and the barrier shattering from said powers. Do you really think those two events wouldn't have made a sound? I can't believe this is how we're proving she's innocent, because her spell card declaration would have made noise. At the very least, to be a sound Momiji-san who was at the east entrance would have been heard. Therefore, if Sanae-san really did break the south entrance's barrier, Momiji-san would have definitely noticed. After all, she even managed to hear the sound coming from within the library. Which means Sanae-san couldn't have broken the barrier, which means she's not the killer. That's true, but don't tell me you're... I'm having tons of fun, my dear! For crying out loud. Once again, you prove you're half as smart as I imagined, little Yomu. Let's say we aim higher next time. I'll try. But I'm not here to be tested on anything. My friends are still in prison! Patience, my dear. Patience. At this point, we have not established many truths already? You mean... the killer was still in the library when the body was found, only leaving after Aya-san and Momiji-san left. The murder didn't take place when the body was found, but at another bookshelf. Thus, we now know the true motive could be another missing book. And we've eliminated everyone who had a talisman in the two shrine maidens, which leaves us with a very small pool of suspects. The only people left as suspects. My advice is to continue using the barrier as a starting point. How did the killer get through the barrier? The method the killer used to get through the barrier. Don't let what you're used to tie you down. Let your imagination run wild. Leave no stone unturned. To pass through the barrier, the killer... controlled the barrier. The culprit must be someone who can control the barrier. The only person who fits that description would be Reimu Hakurei, but little Yomu did not just eliminate her from the equation. I was thinking Yukari, actually. That's my bad, but that makes no sense. The Hakurei Shrine Maiden and the Homoria Shrine Maiden are the question. The culprit has to be one way of getting in. Yep, you saw how effective the methods used a few days ago. One talisman, you can pass through the barrier whatever you wanted, which is the prerequisite for being the culprit. As for talismans, the only people who know we know who had one at the time was Momiji-san and Aya. But perhaps they weren't the only ones. Perhaps someone got their hands on a talisman some other way. Let's put our focus on that some other way then. So, little Yomu, how did the killer get their hands on a talisman? The killer got the talisman through theft, a deal, robbery. Oh god. Well, they got it from Reimu's house, so it had to be... Wait, what's the difference between robbery and theft? The killer must have taken it from Reimu-san by force. Oh, I guess that's the difference. Now that's interesting. Who would be bold enough to rob Reimu Hakurei? Oh, I get it. Are you trying to say I'm the killer? I'm the only one bold enough to do that, my dear. No, that's not possible. If you think about it, the killer likely had a deal with Reimu Hakurei. Oh, right, yeah. They had a deal, because Reimu wanted that book. Yeah, Kidoji-san raised that possibility too a few days back. Now that's interesting. The killer made a deal with Reimu Hakurei to get a talisman from her. What sort of deal was it? The barrier book. Oh? Reimu-san wanted that book on barriers in the library, and the killer also needed to get inside the library, so they made a deal. Reimu-san would provide the talisman and lure Sanae-san into providing an opportunity to sneak in. Reimu-san would provide the talisman and lure Sanae-san. Okay, well, you gotta work on these double issues. And the culprit would get inside the library and get the book Reimu-san wanted. Now that I think about it, Reimu-san wasn't surprised at all when the book showed up 1 year ago. Now that I think about it, Reimu wasn't surprised at all when the book showed up. Stop doing this! It was as if she knew from the start. It was as if she knew from the beginning that the book was in her possession. If she's not the killer, she can only be an accomplice. Great reasoning. Reimu Hakurei is an accomplice, that's right. It's the most logical explanation for the barrier book. Alright then, here's the most important question. Just who would be so great that even Reimu Hakurei would put her trust in them and agree to a deal? Someone who fits these conditions, huh? It's time to broaden your thoughts and throw your biases to the wind. Suspect anyone and everyone, see if they fit the conditions for being the killer. This person must have been very accomplished. Reimu Hakurei wouldn't just put her trust in your average riffraff. For example, someone who has lived for a very long time, that they would allow one to feel confident in them. At the same time, it must be someone with enough backbone to break into the library where the Tangu stored classified information. Someone who sticks by the rules would never do that. Someone who's bold or thinks big. Additionally, this person must know the library has something they want and be knowledgeable in both library's barriers and the surroundings. Ergo, they should be someone who knows Gensokyo or Yokai Mountain very well. More importantly, they would sneak into the library means they must be something they want. This person holds a reason for sneaking into the library on the day of the murder. With so many clues, do you know who you should be suspecting, little Yomo? Someone who fits all the above and is related to the case. Someone who has lived very long, is bold and thinks big, knows Gensokyo or Yokai Mountain very well, and has a reason for entering the library. This person. It has nothing to do with it at all! That's funny. Streamer just likes getting the wrong answer. Wrong answers are fun. Haha, me, you say. Well, you are pretty bold, and you do know Gensokyo pretty well. And why did I pick Sage Kishin? Odd. Why am I suspecting Sage-san? She's been helping me all this time. Without her, things would have gone smoothly. For a brief moment, I suddenly believed that and pointed it out. Why? Very well, my dear, I confess. Come on, put the handcuffs on. We all know how accurate your gut is, little Yomu. Sorry. It's fine. Such out-of-the-blue accusations are very interesting in their own right, my dear. Okay, let's continue. Who fits all the above conditions? Live very long, bold or thinks big, knows Gensokyo or Yokai Mountain very well, and has a reason to enter the library. Prino. Why would it be the victim? What? You have your answer, little Yomu. I didn't even consider this. This is impossible. Aya. I thought you believed in her. Of course I believe her. But the person who fits the bill... Aya-san. Quite right. She doesn't look like one, but she's a Tangu that's been around for thousands of years. She probably has as much experience as that yokai at boundaries. As a Tangu, knowing Yokai Mountain, or even Gensokyo as a whole for that matter, is definitely plausible. As for her boldness, we all saw her in action a few days ago. There's no denying it. Yes, Aya could have made a deal with Reimu-san. They don't seem to be on good terms, but they've actually been friends for years. But that's not possible! Aya, she didn't get her talisman from Reimu-san, she stole one herself! What if Reimu Hakude didn't give her a talisman? Maybe her end of the deal was to simply distract Momiji-san, and she had to figure out how to get the talisman herself. Aya said she waited at the top of the library, but at the end of the day, is there anyone who can prove it? Who knows? Maybe she immediately entered the library once Momiji-san left her post and committed the murder. That's not... I'm sure you're more than well aware that on that day, she's the only person who had the clear intention to enter the library. Only someone like that can make a deal with Reimu Hakude and get her in on it. But it's not possible. Oh dear, it seems to me that little Yomo has reached a deadlock. Not that I'm surprised. You can't convince me. Such a thing isn't possible. I assume you have no objections to me speaking my mind then. Say whatever you want. Is it just me, or did you hear something? Catch! Huh? This was discovered on the body's clothes. A bloody handprint is near the chest. The killer! Yeah, get off me! Praise! Oh shit. Mary! Save the game, and that's where we stop, chat. Cliffhanger! Cliffhanger! Nope. Nope, you don't get to see any more. We're getting cliffhangered. She threw me some clothes with a bloody handprint on it. She broke out of jail for that. Insane. That was 3 hours, chat. Whoa! And we left on a huge cliffhanger. Too much information. So much information. Who did it? Who done it? I don't know. But you're going to have to wait till next week to find out. Isn't that a shame? Isn't that a shame? Don't you hate when streamers do this to you? They take you for a ride like this. Believe me, chat, I want to see as much as you do, but we have to stop here. Because the rest of it isn't ready. So we'd be stuck. So it has to stop here for next week. But next week, probably as early as Monday, we'll be right back on this. I promise you. Depends on when it's all finished, essentially. But yeah, keep it fresh in your mind because it's going to get real heated in the next part.